Yo. It's Grapsody with Will, Phil, and Reg, trying to keep it real instead of what you usually get from these talking heads. It's Grapsody, we're here to fill the void. 3 black fans, different perspective, got to fill your voice. Coming with the podcast, talking majors, indies in between. Yeah, it's all that, and we're down with Fightful, better fall back. Coming for respect, we connect like a ball bat. No need to double check, these are all facts. You're listening to us talk raps. You're listening to us talk raps. Will, Phil, and Reg. Yeah, we're Grapsody, here to talk raps. Yeah, we're Grapsody, here to talk raps.
Oh, wait. The graphic is not correct. You know what's funny is I've done that one other time. And I kept thinking to myself, at some point I'm going to screw up and it's going to do the loop back through thing. Mm-hmm. And each week I managed to catch myself and I'm like, oh, almost did it. And this week, wasn't even paying attention. Totally let it happen. Hey, folks, welcome to Grapsody. I'm Will Washington. How are you on this Saturday? I hope you're good. I hope Philip Lindsey's good.
I'm good, bro. You know why? Back-to-back pay-per-views in the Mecca.
Oh,
That's right. Hold out. We'll be back here in Chicago. And hey, if you want other reasons to know why this is the Mecca, hey, where is Sasha Banks making her first appearance post WWE? Chicago, Illinois. That's right, at C2E2, because this is the greatest city in the world. I'm sorry if you may be feeling a certain way about that, but your boys is back in the city, man. Sorry.
Well, we have Sierra living here because Russell Wilson is our new quarterback. So suck on that, Chicago.
Yeah, I guess that adds up this time. Okay, yes, all right.
Hey, I don't know if you've seen that. I don't know if you've seen that jump video, but Sierra is still fine. And I say still as if she's not just like 36.
But she's been around for a while. So
but she's been around so long that it surprised me when I saw that. I looked up and I was like, wait, she's only 36?
Mm-hmm. Like you haven't been looking at those Instagram pics, I guess.
I mean,
yeah.
I feel like that's been a thing.
It feels like a shock because Russell Wilson is so like Jesus and my family, and you wouldn't think, but
Jesus,
then it's like
my family.
Yo, she out here, Sierra.
Yeah. Also, here is, you heard him, Righteous Reg.
Oh, you know who it is. It's me, your boy, your favorite rapper, your favorite writer, your favorite podcaster, Righteous Reg, media man in the building. It's Saturday morning. Wrestling is always wrestling. We're here again. It's the Grapsody guys. I am one of them people that are against Phil Lindsey because I want a pay-per-view over here in California. What's going on? Why does Chicago get all the love?
Listen,
I say that, but then I see that tickets are sold out in like minutes and shit that I'm like, oh yeah, that's why Chicago gets all the love, because they are out here. So I'm not even mad at it.
Listen, man, I have suffered through decades of terrible football thanks to the Chicago Bears. I have not been back to a championship game since Jordan has left this town. We've had a lot of terrible things sports-wise go on in this city. Let's not get into the stuff that happened after 2011, watching Derrick Rose go down. I've suffered a lot in this city as a sports fan. Let me have this. Let me enjoy this.
Yes. Okay. My team did just win the championship over here, so we got to spread the love. And the hockey team, right? They're from Colorado.
Yeah.
They just won.
Yes.
So yeah, we're spreading the love. We're spreading the love out here. That's what's up.
Yeah, I guess it's cool.
I want wrestling though.
The African American vernaculars won the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, African American vernaculars. That's hilarious.
Yeah. So, how's you guys' week going?
It's been all right. It's been listen, it was a lot more fun than last week. Listen, I know we came in hot a little bit last week. Your boy was a little annoyed this last week, but no, I'm in a good mood, man. Again,
it hasn't been
back
like
to
that
back, baby.
Week. Yeah, he's been pretty excited and pretty up since they announced that All Out was going to be in Chicago. They didn't keep it a secret. It felt like they were like, yo, we're about to announce that it's in Chicago. There's no secret. But I was seeing online that people are kind of like you were saying too, that it's not really Chicago. And I think that's something that you want to reiterate to people before they're like, hey, we're going to Chicago for All Out, and they're like assed out.
It's not so bad because I've done the trip to All Out a few times, and the only thing I need to say about all of that is if you're strategic, if you make sure you get wherever you're staying, your hotel, get it in Hoffman Estates, you'll be fine. Right. I would not try to stay in Chicago. And then
that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. If you're
looking at like a half-hour drive, probably longer to Now Arena if you stay in the city,
and that's like without traffic and shit. So without a bunch of wrestling fans trying to get to the same place that you're trying to get to. So
yeah.
Just remember.
It's definitely not Chicago. It is Hoffman Estates, but that's all right. I'm still taking this victory for the city of the year. Sorry.
like I said, I've done it a few times.
The city of the year. That's hilarious.
And it's like Hoffman Estates isn't too bad. Like I said, I've done it. It's cool. Hey, so few notes. This is Grapsody, and being Grapsody.
Oh, this is Grapsody.
Yeah, it is. Make sure that you're leaving us those thumbs up. And also send us your super chats, your humper chats. They do a couple of things. One, they kind of help support the show. They help us continue to do what we do here. But then also you get your messages across. So you're helping enhance the content of the show while in the process also helping support the show. So your super chats and your humper chats, and you don't know what a humper chat is, it's humperchats.com. That's a Streamlabs solution. And they don't take as much of a cut as YouTube does. So then therefore you're helping support the show even more when you leave humper chats.
We like those, except for when I'm trying to run shit over here and I can't find them. That's the only time. But other than that, shit is lit for y'all, I swear.
Yeah. Hey. I that's my bad, by the way. I probably should have in like leaving stuff for the show been like, oh, let's make sure that Reg can do the humper chat thing, because
I need a checklist because I'm a stoner. I think I'm like, I got everything. It's in my brain, but then I get there, I'm like, oh shit, I don't know where nothing is. Like I couldn't find the show intro or nothing. So next time I got this.
Yeah, that's my bad. I probably should have made sure. I will say, by the way, though, so I guess a little update for those wondering about how William R. Washington is doing. Let me tell you, I am fucking bored. So my
with how many podcasts you have, it doesn't seem like it.
Well, what I specifically mean is, so my family's out of town. My wife is out of town. My kids are away with her,
shit.
And
everybody's gone. It's
so
crazy
I have the house to myself. And I guess a little backstory for those of you who haven't known me as long as a lot of people have. So I went straight from living with my parents to living with my girlfriend, and then straight from girlfriend to wife. Like it was like a straight transition, and I've never really lived on my own. I've never had to, right? It was like I met her when I was 21, and it was like just up and out and in with her. And so never really been on my own. Never really had to like do things just for me. Like everything I do is like for the duo.
Bachelor life, not dadchular life.
Right.
What you're used to.
Well, and like we didn't always have kids, but like it was always the two of us. And this is the first time, the kids like mentioned this 100 times, but this is the first time that my kids have been away without me. Like, obviously, I've been away from them. I take all these wrestling trips, right? But as far as they're concerned, they've never left without me. But this is like a first time for them, so they're a little freaked out about, like, how do we manage a trip without Dad around? And then on the other hand, I'm like, the hell do I do in my house without anybody here? Like,
are you kidding me? Enjoy the time alone, buddy.
Yeah,
you would think so. And like, alone. It's funny. Everybody has said the same thing to me. Everybody on Twitter, as soon as I mention it, they're like, "All right, pull up Pornhub." I'm like, man, that's gonna take up like 5 minutes of my time, and then I spend 20.
How many 5 minutes do you have? Yeah, right.
And then I spend 20 feeling regret. But
right.
Nah, man. I thought as soon as she left, you were gonna come sliding across with your bathrobe doing the dance to the Usher video.
Yeah, you would think so, but you would think so, but nah,
not into it.
I haven't had nearly enough to do. I found myself just like watching shit I've seen 1,000 times. The main thing is eating. Single people, please tell me, because like everything I cook is like for multiple people. Even like I went to just make some just basic ass mac and cheese, and it said 2.5 servings, and I'm like, I don't have 2.5 people here, so I just find myself like not really like eating real meals because all my meals are for like 2 people or 4. Mm-hmm. So I've been eating cereal.
He's like, I'm just gonna forget the servings. I'm just gonna make. I know something that's 1 serving. It's a bowl of Apple Jacks.
And you know what? I went to my dad, and my dad told me the same thing. My dad was like, this is how bored I got. I just wandered over to my parents' house. I was like, I'm gonna just drive around for
what
a couple
are you doing?
I know. I was like, I'm gonna just drive around. Look, yesterday I just walked around Target, right? I was just like, I'm just
the boredest guy.
I walked up and down the aisles at Target, and I'm buying what? I don't know. I tried to find like pudding for whatever reason. Mm-hmm. Couldn't. Target, where's your fucking pudding? But then
you couldn't find the pudding.
No, it literally said on the little aisle caps, it said pudding cups, and I'm like, all right, this is where it is. And I went up and down the aisle, and I'm like, y'all are lying. There's no fucking pudding cups here. Is there like a pudding shortage?
What on earth are you doing, sir?
I know. Look, I know.
Listen, man.
I don't know how to do this,
man.
I don't know how to do this at all. I thought I did.
No, not at all.
I don't know how to do this.
In the woods, and so bro, you don't know what's going on out there.
I like drove around for like half an hour, just like driving, and then I was like, all right, I'm just gonna go to my parents' house. And I went to my parents' house and like was over there for like 4 hours, just bothering them. And I could tell they were like trying to watch a show, and they're like,
what is this bull doing here? Leave.
They were like on the series finale of a show that they've been into, and I could tell that they were like, all right, son, so what else are you getting into? Like, okay, fine. I could take a hint, Mom and Dad. But because like when I was bored, when I was like teenager, I would wander the house and then eventually just like end up in their room, and then I'd sit and talk with them. And I was like, look, it's just like that, except I wandered a few miles to end up at your house.
They're like, no, I didn't even like that anymore, young man.
Yeah, I didn't even call. I was just like, I just showed up, and my dad's like, who's that at the door? And they're like, it's our son, who doesn't seem like he has anything else to do. But
it's our bored ass son.
It's our bored ass son. I've been playing old video games, and here's the worst part: it's only been 2 days.
Wow! And how much longer do you have?
They get back Tuesday, so I at least have.
This is going to be the longest weekend of all time.
It's going to be the longest weekend of all time.
So I'm surprised you didn't find a wrestling show to go to.
I know. See, well, I should look that up because we do have a few local promotions.
Come on, man. You got to put somebody over.
Yeah, so I may be...
I'm heading to some local wrestling tonight. It's Hood Slam night out in Oakland, California. Shout out to all my homies in Hood Slam. Dark Sheik's going to be in the building, of course. I think Alley Catch is on the show, Tony Deppen. There's a couple of GCW people. There's a GCW show tomorrow in San Francisco, so a couple people that are going to be on that show. We'll also be at the Hood Slam show. I'm going to be at that GCW show tomorrow in San Francisco. If you are in the area, you definitely want to check that out. They got an insane card. Whole bunch of things are happening. So, yeah, it's going to be super lit, especially if you could check out any local independent wrestling in your area. You want to do that and support people that are eventually going to be on your little TV screens for not enough minutes, and you're going to complain because they're not on the show for long enough. But you want to get them before when they can get long matches instead of 6-minute squashes. So
yeah. Speaking of local indies, your boy ACH and frontman Ja are your new AEW
Let's go, baby.
tag team
Oh,
champions.
my God. It was lit last night. That made me very happy. Yeah, when me
It
and
seemed
ACH...
like everybody was having a good time last night.
When ACH and I did the interview, we talked about him having potential partners, and frontman Ja was one of the guys. He was like, I'd love to work with Ja, specifically against Waves and Curls. He thought that they would have a great contest together. And so to see them win the AEW Tag Team Championships together is amazing, because like, how did you go from that to like actually making it happen and winning championships? That makes ACH Triple Crown and AEW. He's been doing a lot in there.
Triple Crown, reigning Black Wrestler Matter champion.
Let's go. That also kind of, I always connect these two guys together. I don't know why, it just happens. Last night at GCW, Leo Rush was in the building, showed up, did some commentary, was talking like he's going to be back in the building. So, you know, that's always exciting. I'm over the retirement shit. I don't know what that does for anybody. That does nothing for me.
I think he's burned out the last retirement. So
yeah, it's like, who cares? Like, who cares, man? Like, if we get to see him in the ring, that's all that fucking matters. Who cares how he got there? Who cares what's gonna happen afterwards? Give me the fucking matches while he's here when he wants to fucking do it. That's all I care about. Yeah. Jeez Louise, you guys.
All right. We also got some let's go to our viewers, shall we?
Yeah.
So we got Humper Chats coming in. Anwar says, much love to y'all and the Grapsody fans. Media Man was right about Mike Bailey. He's getting buckets everywhere. Phil and Will, how are y'all feeling about the current MCU phase? Some people are putting them on Pack Watch.
I think it's a bit soon to put them on Pack Watch. I mean, are we acting like No Way Home was not a good movie? I mean, what's going on?
Phase 4 feels the least cohesive, though. I feel like Phase 3 was building to a big goal, obviously. And Phase 4 has thus far... And Phase 2 was definitely all building. Phase 1 was the first of its kind, right? That it was all building toward, you know, one big Avengers movie. Phase 2 was like, okay... it was the steps of getting some of the lesser guys involved to build the bigger team. Phase 3 was like, okay, we are building toward the biggest event in the history of movies with Avengers, Infinity War, right? But like Phase 4 thus far doesn't really feel like it's all simultaneously building to something. And I think that that's kind of the issue that I'm having here from the MCU perspective. I'm so used to this idea of there being a big ass end goal, and this has not felt like there is one.
Man, look. Once they took your precious Captain America off the table and they started bringing in new characters with color, all of a sudden people are like, cohesion. Like, I don't want to hear cohesion, bro. Like they're introducing new characters. They're putting new chess pieces on the board. Let them cook, man. Like people.
I mean, look, I'm the biggest MCU fan. I am a believer that there isn't. I mean, I said
you gotta let it play out.
I can't say this now that
play out.
I can't say this now that
it always works.
I can't say this now that Eternals exists, but I was a big believer for a long time that there wasn't a bad MCU film. That I feel like people who would argue about.
I don't think Eternals is bad. You think it's a bad movie?
I do think it's a bad movie, but it is interesting that when I hear people argue about this movie is better than this movie, and I'm like, you're all just arguing about good movies, which is right. a fun thing. Like, for how much I wanted as a kid, like a great, like, for people who have superhero fatigue right now, I get it because there's so much of it. But like, as a kid, this is everything I ever wanted in film, and so like, I think MCU movies are great. I have fun with them, but right now, this is the time that I feel like I'm not walking out of each one right now ready for whatever's next. I'm not like, okay, all right, well, how this one ended, I can't wait to see what's next, to see where this leads, if this is the most they've all just kind of felt like standalone stories. And I think that you disagree?
I kind of disagree in the sense that, here, I'm going to get closer to my mic because I feel like some people have wanted to hear me say this for a long time. I'm kind of biased. So
they're just gonna isolate that.
Yeah,
they're just gonna isolate that.
Do what you will. I'm kind of biased because I'm a huge Spider-Man fan, and seeing all three Spider-Men on film. Come on, man, forget it.
No Way Home is an all-time great movie. Like
that's WrestleMania.
So and then also like Sam Raimi
38.
to me has produced possibly the best Spider-Man movie ever. And to have him come back and direct another comic book movie,
did do Doctor Strange. But even so, Doctor Strange was cool. But again, it wasn't like by the end of it, I didn't feel like I'm building to a big end goal. And that's the only thing that the Infinity Saga was able to do was after each movie in those first 3 phases, I felt like, all right, when are we getting to Thanos? Every single movie, you were like, okay, we got to get to Thanos.
Take those expectations out of there, man.
But they gave me the expectations. They gave it to me for like 20 films.
I just
they did 20 movies.
I know the
I do think they're building to certain things. I just think right now they are introducing as many new characters as they can. And look, almost every new character they've introduced has been a win. Like all of the TV characters they've introduced. Come on, man. I know you haven't watched Miss Marvel yet, but I feel like the way they've introduced Miss Marvel and the way they've done that as a tie-in to the next movie is great.
I never know what anyone's talking about, but people do talk positively about all the TV shows and any of that shit that comes out.
Yeah,
it's always
I think,
we love this. Like, we can't wait until the next one. Like, that's a
I think people that are just like, oh, the movies are, if people are like the movies are mid, like, man, we've gotten several great TV shows at this point. Mm-hmm. Loki was fantastic. WandaVision is probably my favorite out of this. We got a great Hawkeye show. I don't know. I feel like I am along for the ride. People that are just like, where are we going? When do we get to the fireworks factory? Just enjoy the ride. We don't have to know yet.
When we get into
I appreciate that Philip Lindsey again. Like I said, we may not necessarily agree on the taste, but I love that our tastes are fairly similar because the fact that he could drop a Simpsons reference like that and I can always appreciate that. But so we've got and then obviously other thing you said, Anwar, shout out Mike Bailey.
Mike Bailey's insane. He's going crazy. Every match he does is the best match you've ever seen. Not just kidding, just best match of the night usually 99% of the time, every time I've seen him for the last year. So it's only up from here. There's a lot of dope. Impact has some tape. I don't know if it's going live tonight. I don't think it is, but they're taping some things this weekend. They have some crazy matches. Kushida's going to be out there. Kushida and Alex Shelley. Or no, that's going to be at the end of the month. Kushida and Rich Swann are going to go at it. So, that's fire.
Well, we also have our weekly updates from Van Twinblade.
Oh, there he is.
He said, 2 notes for Glory Pro. 1, live at the pageant returns September 25th. Get on that Amtrak and get down here, guys. And he said, 2, due to Jake Something breaking motherfuckers in New Japan, Ethan Price will team with Laney Luck against the Hustle and the Muscle. PS fuck VKM. And then he also sent another one saying, also, I just saw this on Insta. Jody Threat and Brooke Valentine are coming back to face each other. Hashtag, I just hope they both have fun. And also, Mike Outlaw is going to get his kneecap surgically removed by 2D's kicks. 2D 2 belts. Thank you.
That's a sell. I think the Glory Pro announced that show's going to be live and free on YouTube. So everybody tune in. Subscribe to the Glory Pro YouTube so you could be updated on all the great stuff. And also, Jake Something being in New Japan is awesome. All the matches that he's had there in Strong have been dope. He's a great talent. I'm surprised that AEW hasn't tried to slip him the bag because he's a big guy. Him and Wardlow could be in there beating each other's face off if they wanted a great, crazy opponent for him. So, yeah, shout out to Jake Something.
Yep. They're noting in the chat that I got a haircut. I did. That was another one of those don't have shit else to do. Got to hang out at the barbershop.
That's definitely something you could get into.
Oh, yeah, and hanging out at the barbershop, talking with people. So here's a cool story. And for those of you who are the Ryan Satin me here, I do have the proof. But so I've mentioned before,
Bad Bunny.
So they're all wrestling fans at my barbershop, right?
That's the one that Lashley went to.
Yeah, so Lashley brings his kids into and all of that. And so they're fans at the shop. And when I got in there, so I came in Friday and they were all just So shout out Stacy and my barber Jelani, but they were just like, there's the bed right here. And I was like, well, what? They were like, Swerve got the tag team titles.
Let's go, baby.
And then one of the other barbers was like, oh, I didn't even see it. They won? And he was like, let's put it on. And they threw on Dynamite. I shit you not. Look at this. I sent this picture to Swerve, but this is in the barbershop. You can see right up here. They're watching Dynamite in the barbershop. Everybody. And they threw the match on because they were like, that match was so good. And they had people like sitting around just like paying attention. Everybody's remarking on it because, you know, everybody's like a lapsed wrestling fan, right? And they're like, oh, I used to watch this stuff when I was a kid. But they were all getting into the match as the match is going on. And when Hobbs started hitting those spine busters on everybody, like everybody in the barbershop's getting lit.
Well, yeah. Like, that's one of his demographics right there. Barbershop dudes.
Are you saying that there are black people that enjoy AEW?
Well, that's the thing is I've always said this. I don't care what nobody said. When you talk about casual wrestling fans and all of that, and they say casual wrestling fans don't care about the wrestling. If you show this match, that main event, to even like I said, it felt like there were a lot of lapsed fans there because a lot of people were comparing. Like I remember when the Bucks, like there was a guy in there who had never seen the Young Bucks before, but he saw them keep hitting the super kicks, and he's like, "Oh shit, they got sweet chin music, right?" And I was like, "Okay, I can see that these are there's a lot of lapsed fans here, right?" I've always felt like if you show a great match to anybody, they will get into it. It doesn't matter who's in it. Like, that is the ability. That's what a truly great match has. That's why I'm a believer that if you can get the crowd on your side, you've won in pro wrestling. And if you can get a crowd that's not even at a wrestling event, but is just like sitting on the bench waiting for their barber, that's like they turned off SportsCenter when I
expecting to watch a wrestling
like
match.
Usually they got SportsCenter on and they turned it off. They were like, nah, you got, because one guy hadn't seen the match yet, and they were like, nah, you got to see this, and they just threw it on the TV, and you could see it start to get everybody's attention in the room. And I was like all smiles. Like I said, I took a picture and I sent it to Swerve, and I was like, they're watching the match here in the barbershop.
Amazing.
William Satin, buddy.
I'm saying, he's like
I said, you can believe it if you want.
He did all this for clout. He's like, put this match on. I need y'all to stand right here.
Put this on. I'm gonna get my phone out.
I'm gonna get my phone out.
Like, and the thing is, I didn't even post the picture. Like, I literally just took the picture just to send to him. I'm like, hey, they're all enjoying the match here. And like, because I will say the three things that got the biggest reaction from like 20 people in a barbershop was, one, the spine busters from Powerhouse Hobbs. You know, he hits that first one on Keith Lee and everybody's like, oh, but then he keeps hitting them on everybody else and stacking them. That was good reactions. Okay. Keith Lee with the dive. They're like, whoa, what's this big man about to do? Oh shit.
That was one of Keith Lee's best dive ever. He like hit that so clean. Oh my god, I love it.
And the finish. Because near falls get people. Like, there were a couple of times where I watched people bite. Honestly, I said there were three, but Ricky Starks' spear had people going, oh, that was clean. Dude on the side was like, that was one of the cleanest spears he'd ever seen. He was like,
fuck with spears, but that was a hell of a spear.
He was like, look, I coach. He was like, look, I coach football, and he's like, that was all the form you're supposed to have. And he starts talking about form. See,
man. See, Reg? See?
I guess it's about form. I don't know.
Like, this is one of those things. You show a bunch of black people in one space, and it had everybody. And then, everything's coming back to me now. Everybody was also remarking on the Jordans. The Young Bucks, like, that was the first thing that a couple of people caught. They're like, wait, they wrestle in Jays now? Like, it was just the thing. It was fascinating to watch.
It's okay for them to do that? You sure?
Look, this ain't wrestling Twitter, so nobody was actually caring to dive into anything. They were literally just remarking on the Jays, the specific Jays, and how much they cost. And so, like, there was just all that talk happening, and it was that fast.
at one of these events that we're all three of us in, I feel like we're gonna do the Young Bucks don't don't. Like,
yeah. We're definitely gonna do that now.
Yeah, we have to. So
I'm trying to pull up to one of these next big ones, specifically the sold out show or that New York show. That New York show's looking pretty appealing.
All Out's not quite sold out though, because they got a lot of combo tickets. Like a lot of people are having to buy. There's a lot of combos left, so if you are trying to go, you just may have to go to all three or buy one for all three and then just like not attend.
Yeah, if I was going to go to Chicago, I would be interested in going to all three anyways. So.
Yeah, so there's a lot of combos left, but as far as like just the straight all out tickets, those are gone. Let's see.
Pretty fun. What's the weather like at that time?
It should be all right.
Yeah, last year, yeah, I guess
decent weather.
The times I went, I was burning up because it's still technically summer. And yeah, I had my kids with me last year because they wanted to go to All Out. That was the first time I ever took them to All Out. That was the first time I technically met Phil in person beforehand at Effie's Big Gay Brunch, but that was the first time I met Philip Lindsey. And
is that the time when me and Sean met to go to Jeremy's thing, and then you called like right after I left and got back to my hotel room? I was like, oh, I'm gone, buddy. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. Like I had hit you up beforehand, and I was like, "What are you doing tomorrow?" And you were like, "Well, I'm going to Effie's." I was like, "All right, cool. I'll see you there." And so yeah, Orion Ben says, "I'm shocked that Reg survived the Reg Invitational."
I'm shocked I survived too. That was a series of emotions. You talk about an emotional roller coaster in a match right there. All the elements. We talked about it last week. And then the finish, like Will talked about it a little bit on Twitter and on Day After Dynamite. We did not think this was going to happen. We weren't in on it at all. This was like a legit, I was like,
so some people are aware, and if you haven't heard the whole story, listen to or go watch Day After Dynamite. But the change to Swerve's theme music was a change I had made. The change to add the Who's House.
Even you talking about that in the group chat, it didn't like.
Yeah, I told you about that in our group chat.
My brain to be like, oh, that means something. I didn't.
Are you kidding me?
Anything.
Me doing that didn't register that. Oh, this change is happening because something big is on the horizon. I thought it was just, hey, they got a main event match on Dynamite.
Right.
So it's a good time to have some enhancement to Swerve's entrance. Didn't even click that. I spent all day listening to that edit, and like my kids probably heard it 1,000 times. Because of the fact that I had played it over and over, I was like really like syncing up the timing on Whose House, all of that, all day. And it didn't even occur to me. I'm like, yeah, we're going to hear that right at the beginning of the match. Didn't even register to me that I'd hear it at the end. Not even one time.
Right.
I missed all of the hints. Somebody tried to spoil the match for me. Completely missed the spoiling. I got a message from somebody that had just said, I heard about the titles. And I responded, the titles?
What titles?
Yeah, what titles? What are you talking about? And then after the match was over, I was like, oh, that's what you meant. I don't even know why it didn't even hit me. I'm like, did they get like new TNT titles? Like, what are you talking about? I have no idea what you are even... There were so many hints that I missed, and I was telling Swerve yesterday. I told him yesterday, I was like, I had zero clue, not one hint in. I take that back. I had all the hints, but I was not picking up on any of them. I was very pleasantly surprised. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. I want to read the rest of these super chats. But Ryan Sullivan says Phil is going full heel over getting too much good wrestling.
Honestly,
listen. I'll just say this: God is good, man. God is very good because God spared the wrestling world from if I got everything I wanted this summer and if Seth was Mr. Money in the Bank. Oh my God. You guys would probably all mute me on Twitter. I would probably be the worst person on Twitter right now if I got all the W's.
Yeah,
but I'm pretty close. I'm pretty close.
Van Twinblade says Randy Orton can say he's from St. Louis when he's from St. Charles County. That makes all of Chicagoland Chicago.
It's all Chicago.
It technically does, but Hoffman's not Chicago.
It's not Chicago. It's not Chicago.
I mean, like, if people ask, like, I always do say, like, oh yeah, I live in Denver, but like, I'm a stone's throw away from Denver. I'm in Aurora, but like, literally anything in Denver I can get to within 20 to 25 minutes. So therefore, I just say, yeah, I'm in Denver. Right. But I am technically not in Denver.
I mean, it's tons of people around the Chicago area that claim Chicago, and it's like, y'all don't live in Chicago. Y'all live out in the burbs.
Tina Keys says, have coffee in hand. Here's to a great show and wrestling weekend. Double of Defy Wrestling and G1 Climax.
Oh, yeah, Defy Swerve is at Defy this weekend, too.
Bringing the tag title.
Hot shit, yeah.
Bringing the title, too. Awesome.
Yeah.
Man, G1 did kick off last night. Was a pretty good night. There
was a big upset.
Big upset. Jonah. Well, not Jonah. I'm sorry. Hanare.
Yeah.
Put Tanahashi away with the Streets of Rage, which is also named for a finisher. He should keep that forever. And man, not that I didn't expect it, but Phantasmo and Ospreay put on an incredible match. If you haven't seen it yet, it's really good.
Yep. Dream Ninja says, gotta say it, Sasha is worth it. She is the GOAT. Know your worth. People bitching clearly hate black women. Death Before Dishonor is a super fire card. We are going to talk about that. That's one of the major topics here today on the show. Coming up here shortly.
Death Before Dishonor?
Well, we'll have notes on that too. Brent Lockman says, Will may have accidentally created a reality show here talking about my going around with my time.
No, there needs to be like a support group. Husband's dad support group where like your family's gone. You can't be in these streets because you're a good, wholesome man. So what do good, wholesome dads do when their family's away? And then you guys all have a support group together.
I have plans. Although I do have to call out one particular friend. I'm not going to name them by name. But I do have one particular friend who I just have to tell you. This is now 7th time in a row that this friend has done this. Look, I promise you, people, this is my advice to everyone out there. It is better to say no than to say yes and cancel.
Yes.
Just say no in the beginning. But this particular friend,
they've been telling us
we had a bet, me and another friend. I sent the screenshot and I was like, made plans with this friend, and we had a bet over whether or not they would cancel, and they did every single time. I'm telling you right now, I know some people get anxiety over saying no to people, and so they'll say yes and then realize that they actually couldn't do it, but just say no. It feels so much better to say no than to make plans with somebody and cancel. And I can say things will come up, right? But this is like 7th time in a row. Literally, me and another friend had a bet going on this over whether or not they'd make it. And I was like, I don't know. You know me, I look for the best in people. I was like, I don't know, maybe maybe they'll actually come through this time. And my other friend was like, yeah, okay, we'll see. And guess what? They were right. So again, don't do it. Just say no. Just say no. It's way easier.
I'm at that point in my life where I am pretty introverted. I don't really like people that much, and so a lot of times when people make plans with me, I'm secretly hoping they're going to cancel at the last minute, so I have an excuse not to go.
So you don't want to go, is what you're saying. But you
say
yes.
every now and then, like I'll get to the day of. I'll get to the day of. I'm like, oh yeah, I do have those plans. I'm like, dang, maybe they'll cancel and I don't have to go.
Yeah. And this particular friend, I will say, it just occurred to me that I have seen them in the Grapsody chat one time. So if you are watching, I have put you on blast. So
hey yo, I did not expect to get put on blast today. I was just trying to watch this nice show.
And got cooked by your boy.
Wow.
So just know, like I said, not a huge deal, but just say no. It's okay. Like if I say, hey, what are you doing on Saturday? And then, hey, you want to kick it Saturday? And you can't, and you can't, or you don't want to. Don't tell me yes and cancel. That's worse than telling me no.
No. Don't misunderstand me, cards. I am not a canceller. I hate being stood up by anybody, but I am also very antisocial.
He's not going to be there.
I am very antisocial at times, and so it isn't that I would cancel on people. It is that sometimes I'm like, dang. Oh, you can't make it? Dang. All right. I'll catch you next time.
You can't make it? That's funny.
Jake Salazar says, Moon Knight is the best TV show Marvel has done, and I really want to see him inserted in a movie. All I'm saying is meme guy.
Yeah, I like Moon Knight. I don't know if I would say it's the best, but, I mean, to me, that is firmly Daredevil. Daredevil is the best Marvel TV show. But no, I enjoyed Moon Knight.
Do you like okay, I was gonna say, so I feel like the Netflix shows still have not been topped for me. I feel like Daredevil and Jessica Jones were super hot. I love that first season of Luke Cage.
First season of Luke Cage was really good.
Really, really good. And Defenders was trash. But that was partly because Iron Fist was trash. And so building a universe off of a show that wasn't any good could only build something that wasn't very good. Pylon says, Briscoes and FTR are about to have the match of the year and the runner-up.
Yeah, they plan on it. That's a big fact.
Not playing around, man.
Are going to make some things happen. Chris says, I'm waiting for the Crow reboot so indie comics and graphic novels get a shot at to be adapted.
Hey, you guys are out here, man. Huh.
Jake Salazar says, Spider-Man Tobey Maguire made me tear up a little. Yep. I actually just recently I watched last night. This is like I said, the part of the thing I do when I'm bored is like watch things I've seen a million times. I did watch Spider-Man 2002 last night, where I was up super late, and I was really
number 2. Is that the second one or the first?
That's the first one. I watched Toby number 1. I was like, I really was just looking for a clip from the movie, and so I started it, and so I maybe didn't watch like the first. Pretty much, it was the Macho Man scene. I get to that, and I was like, I wanted to see Bonesaw, right? And so I went just to that scene, and then I'm like, all right, I'm gonna just leave this on, and I ended up watching the whole thing again. I've seen the movie a million times, but never fails. Let's see. Matt says, what's up, Will, Phil, and Reg? So did everyone mark out Wednesday for Swerve and Keith? And wondering why Mania tickets for LA are going on sale next month. I mean, yeah, it's real soon. But it's also one of those things where you want to make sure that I think in this case, they need to sell it out.
This is a big place they're going to be in too. Yeah, they usually start them around November. This is interesting that they're starting them so
way
early,
sooner.
so, yeah.
But also, like, they want to get everything in place. I get it.
Money's different around these times for everybody. It's a good thing to just get a jump on the whole thing to see how things are going,
Yeah.
And to try to sway Dwayne, like, hey, yo, hey,
it's like, hey, look, you see, we sold all these tickets. You want to be here.
Right. It is weird to have two pay-per-views in July and have people spending all this money and then go, hey, by the way, WrestleMania tickets.
Yeah.
It's like, chill on my wallet for a minute, man. Let me pay for these other things.
And that's when WWE is like, hey, we got a credit card now.
Right. You didn't see our commercial?
I did with Ian and Bianca in it.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Jake says, well, Reginald, looks like your middle-aged bucks ain't the best no more.
Look, it's not about being the best. It's about being it's about the matches being the best matches you've ever seen, and that's what this was, right?
We already come with Buck slander?
They're out for one day, and this is how you treat them?
Alexander says, I must be the outlier because most of the MCU felt repetitive going back to Iron Man 2. There have been real creative standouts here and there, but there's a level these movies aspire to but don't reach. I don't know.
Erroneous.
Okay.
I like the movies. Whatever.
I mean, Black Panther has been since Iron Man 2. What are we talking about? Like, what?
Like I like. I don't know. I haven't walked out of those movies going like, damn, I'm disappointed. Like sometimes I have been like, yeah, it wasn't as good as this one, but I still like it better than like most of the superhero movies I grew up with. So therefore, these are fine.
Iron Man 2 was early in the game. We got Civil War after that. We got tons
Civil
of stuff
War
after that.
was an experience. I walked out of Civil War just smiling ear to ear.
It's pretty rare where the timeline is like collectively like that was the worst thing I've ever seen, and like you never see that. It's always like pretty positive all around.
Yeah,
we got Winter Soldier after that. Winter Soldier is possibly one of my favorite movies. Come on, nah. Hard disagree.
Tyrell says, I feel like the MCU is starting to look like the comic world where there are just movies you don't watch or feel because the stories don't hit the same. I mean, that's another thing where I did feel like I was really into comics for a long time, but there was just so much going on. And then, there was a point where I didn't feel like I was building to anything anymore. And then I fell out of comics. I don't want to fall out of the MCU because I've been with it since day one. I saw the first Iron Man in theaters multiple times. And I don't know. I don't want to. Let's see. Nathan DePaul says Ricky Stark's ugly crying before the pin getting broken up is just top tier wrestling.
I loved it.
They're talking about wanting to pull up to the barbershop again. Hey, it's great. I have been Jelani's been cutting my hair now for 10 years. 10 years this year. And
10 years this year.
That's 10 years this year. So, and again, it's always just like, it's fun. It is a very, very fun experience.
I saw a video earlier this week of really quick. You were talking about your Will Washington isms, and here's the thing. I saw a video this week on Reddit of Triple H. That's also his thing. Like, there's a bunch of times of him being like, here's the thing, Shawn Michaels. Yeah. Here's the thing, Randy Orton. I'm like, is Will Washington Triple H? That's crazy out here. I can't believe that you're Triple H.
I'm sure I could, like, spit out some water over here.
No, it's fine.
That's from days ago.
If you've learned anything from this episode, is that there's a lot of consistency in Will Washington's life, and he doesn't know what to do when consistency is not there.
Yeah, anytime there's chaos, which is not chaos, it's just regular other things, he's like, yo, what's going on here?
I have to say, though, in typical barbershop fashion, there was a big debate over two debates, actually. I have to give Stacy some shit here. But he was just on the side. He was just shouting yesterday over Sasha Banks. He is like, who made Sasha Banks? WWE made Sasha Banks. And
every time there's a Stacy and it's a dude, it's always like that. He's always that person. Classic Stacy.
He was going off. He's like, WWE made Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks don't get to decide that she's bigger than the WWE, blah, blah, blah. Wow. He was just going off. And
he got a podcast? What's going on?
Yeah, I know, right? Barbershop is where you get your shit off. And
I know. And this was like straight barbershop talk. And then, of course, it devolved into is Vince McMahon wrong? And
and barbershop is not where some of those
barbershop you're gonna get some cancelable takes in there.
So quickly.
Yeah, because this is definitely a barbershop, black men. There are no women in the vicinity, and therefore some
men of a certain age, as they say.
Yeah. Shit's gonna be said that don't leave the barbershop and is not good, and that's all I'll say there. But
that's
when
anytime there's one of those barbershop talk podcasts, it never works out because it's supposed to stay in there. I guess the LeBron James show works. But they've been giving it up on that. Yeah, that's not.
Yeah,
it's like Hollywood barbershop talk.
They be in there pretending to cut hair and pretending to have real talk. Like, come on, stop.
So yeah, I will say when it got on those topics, it was.
Turn the cameras off.
Yeah, no, that I did not record or take any pictures of, but yeah, there were some not great shit. Let's see. Ryan Lambert says, having just moved from San Francisco to Chi, AEW keeps making me come back to my hometown. Here's my weekly appreciation to y'all. Much love. Thank you so much, Ryan. That. Always appreciate you. Brent says, it's ridiculous how well we're eating as wrestling fans right now. Gresham and Claudio, sweet Jeebus. I know. We are eating great as wrestling fans.
How does it? I don't know how we keep getting this.
Like,
how do we keep getting so lucky? Like, every time they show a new graphic like that, I'm like, what?
One of the things Meltzer keeps talking about, and he's right, is that there's not enough discussion, and maybe Grapsody will do a big deep dive on it. But there's really not a huge discussion over, everybody always wants to talk about TV ratings and things like that, right? But one of the things that needs to be looked at right now is the successes of, quote, non-WWE products. That this is the highest success that they've seen in forever. That why is there such a big interest in all these indie promotions that are seeing, the fact that there's as many as there are right now that have as much content as they're putting out there.
There's a lot.
And there's so much money to be made right now in non-WWE content. There's never been a better time to just eat as a wrestling fan. If you don't like what you're seeing in one place, and I mean that too for AEW. If you don't like what you're seeing in AEW, there is something. There's something for you. There's somebody doing.
There's wrestling cons almost every weekend. Also,
almost every weekend.
Legends, like you could find legends. Like there's somebody every.
Look, if you want to control your narrative, look, there is.
They got tour dates, bro. They
got tour dates. Look, there is wrestling for you, and they're all doing fairly well. Like,
yeah, definitely.
It's a great time right now.
That's why I hate when the veterans are like, these people are doing this for a blah 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 and a handshake. There's no money to be. There is, like, if somebody is recording it and it's going to be on the internet, all these spots do matter. It's not like in 1994 when you did something dumb in the independents and nobody ever saw it. Somebody's about to see that shit in 30 seconds all over the internet. So anything matters now. There's no free anything. Like Will Washington said, there's no free matches, there's no free anything. Somebody's paying for this somewhere. I'm paying for my internet that pays for Twitter. Something is being paid for. Somebody's gonna see that shit. Do your fucking spots. Just be careful also, but do your fucking spots. Somebody's gonna see that shit. It's not like
loosen up, old heads.
Relax, you guys.
Loosen up, old heads. If Hove can give out features for free, then you guys can chill out.
Well, honestly, that's crazy, bro. That's a crazy. I guess you have to be at a certain level. Like, of course it's free because, like, if you get it, you're at like a level where you earned it. But like that just sounds crazy.
I felt like he kind of sunned a lot of rappers without trying to sun them because he was like, "No, man, if you're making enough money, you don't have to charge people for features."
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, Hove.
Well, you know what though? So going off of. All right, so there was something Conan said a few weeks ago when he was kind of calling out what Hangman had said about Hangman was like, all these old guys who he's like, I promise you I won't become an old guy who gets a podcast to bury the next generation. And Conan was like, this generation is soft because people would tell us that all the time. Tell us this kind of stuff all the time. Don't disagree with that. Mm-hmm. What I do disagree with is that they didn't have fucking podcasts. They told it to you. They might pull you backstage. You might have heard it behind the scenes. You might have heard it. The old heads would come down and make sure that you heard from them. But they didn't have podcasts where they
in your face, like, yo,
where they buried the youth. They didn't do it to an audience. They did it to you. There's a big difference between me telling my son a criticism as far as something he's doing and me going out publicly going, hey, you know what my son needs to work on? Right. And like, there's a huge difference between those two things. And I don't understand how people don't recognize that you can give feedback to the the modern generation, but if you're doing it to the public, you are burying them. And just recognize that that's what you're doing. If that's your goal, then go ahead, achieve that goal, whatever. But just recognize that that's what you're doing. Don't act like you're doing the same thing that was done for you when they weren't the older generation. Even if they were doing it publicly, they were doing it on like shoot interviews that barely anybody was watching, or they were, you
had to be in the know.
Had to be in the know, right? They didn't have giant audience. They didn't have YouTube channels. They didn't have that kind of stuff, right? You had to go buy RF video shoots to hear somebody talk about the shit. And even then, for the most part, when they did those, maybe they'd have something to say about the youth, but for the most part, they talked about their peers. They talked about their stuff. They talked about like, okay, I'm gonna talk about my time in the business, and I'm gonna, bury this guy I worked with 10 years ago. I'm not gonna necessarily talk about what's happening today.
Yeah, no, they would say like a line or two or a couple minutes, but now there's 2.5-hour podcasts burying the youth, the entire generation of pro wrestling. It's so different.
It's not the same. Like, you are absolutely not Conan doing the same thing that was done for you. Booker T, you're not doing the same thing that was done for you. It's not the same. Not the same.
Man, Booker looked dope in his when he came back with.
Look
great. He had his long ponytail jumping off that was made of dreads. I was like, that's kind of fire.
Can I say something real quick about Booker T? I give Booker T a hard time because he says a lot of wild stuff. Yeah. But I always have to make sure I note how much as a performer Booker T as a wrestler meant to me. Like, Booker T was one of my favorites.
Booker T now and Booker T in 98, 99, 2000, 2000. In 1998, Booker T had dread. He was the coolest fucking wrestler. He did the Harlem Hangover, a front flip leg drop. This guy was fucking cool, man.
When Booker won the world title in WWE as King Booker, are you kidding me? Like, there's if you watch, there's a Raw July 7th, 2007. Might be July 9th. I have to look at a calendar to be certain. But it's coming up on like 15 years ago to this day. But Booker T is on his way to the ring. And there are... it was July 9th. Okay, July 9th, 2007. You can see 4 people holding signs. And they say, "All hail King Booker." And Booker looks over at these 4 guys, and he's like, he didn't even like point. He just kind of nods at them. That was me and my friends. That's how much we loved Booker T. We were straight up about all things Booker. And when he was King Booker, I swear to you, all hail King Booker. We brought the signs. We were like all about Booker. I was bowing. That man could do no wrong to me. Again, it's really just his takes, and I think his commentary was whack. But like for the most part,
commentary it was wacky as fuck. But
he always came off like somebody who like didn't watch the show, but was obviously there every week. So like he had to. Where like you'd be like, I've never seen this Ezekiel Jackson before, and it's like, but you literally just saw him last week. What are you talking about?
I liked him because it seems Vince overproduces everybody. Like, you can't produce Booker T. You're like, Booker, please watch the show one time. He's like, and then he comes to the next week and he's like, oh my, who is this person? This is crazy. Like, yo, they've been on the show for 15 weeks straight, bro.
No, Booker was always good for a good laugh, unintentional laughs. Like, yo, I always used to laugh at how he used to say Ambrose's name because he would say D. Ambrose, and it sounded like he was saying Ambrose. I'm like, yo.
See, man, he was good.
No, Booker cracked me up on commentary, but it was just funny that like, watch the show. Like, you come off like somebody who doesn't watch it, but you're here obviously doing the commentary. Do you not pay attention to what you're talking about?
Nope, just words.
You know he was going to say at least every time Brian was on in the match, my boy D-Bra, that's what I call him, D-Bra.
That's what I call him, he's D-Bra. He's in my Fave 5. No,
yeah, I'm saying, my Fave 5 was hard. That was a great era. D-Bra.
Shuck it, duck it. Like, Booker T.
Man, no, Booker's the man, and I think that's why sometimes I'm so disappointed with his taste because I really like Booker. So it's like, no, don't do this, Booker.
Yes, that's what it is for me. It really is like,
stop with these whack ass takes.
Like I forgot, and I'm sorry, I'm not giving the right citation here, but so it was a WWE writer at the time. He had just published a thing about he fought to get Booker T on this WWE magazine
that's
cover.
Brian Solomon. He's one of my PWI writing co-workers.
Thank you, Brian Solomon. Yes, thank you. I'm glad you got that. So shout out Brian Solomon. But he talked about wanting to get Book on that cover and how hard he fought for that, and that they straight up told him, look, we're not putting a black man on the cover of WWE magazine, which is, you know what really irks me about that, by the way? And this is one of those things that will get Philip Lindsey, like, this is going to get the rise out of him and get him going. Because if anybody can relate to this, it's Philip Lindsey. Around that same period that Booker T cover was published, there was another cover that featured John Cena and Method Man. And so the fact that there was a fight to get Booker T on a cover because you couldn't sell Black Man on the cover, but you wanted to sell hip hop, and in order to sell hip hop, you used
the white man.
You can't have two black men on the cover. That's
you
crazy.
had John Cena and Method Man on the cover, and it's like, yeah, we want to sell hip hop. We know we can sell that, but if we're gonna do it, it's got to be with a white man.
Yeah, you got it. Come on, you got to get Can't See Me guy.
Yeah, and then the thing Brian followed up with was that the worst part is that they were right. That he said that sales in the South pretty much tanked on that cover. People didn't buy the Booker T cover.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I bet you they all were out saying, "Man, I don't like rap, but I love that Eminem guy, and John Cena's a great rapper." Listen, if you're one of those guys that I knew a lot of white friends in high school that were like, "I don't like hip hop, but I like Eminem." Just know that I was secretly saying to myself, "I hate you."
I remember the first time I heard that. I remember it vividly, where there were people who, when I said that because I remember, I think I've told this story on the show, but I moved when I was 10. I moved to a fairly white neighborhood, and I had a miserable year that year, but one of the biggest things was that when like other kids would ask me what I listened to, and I'd be like, yeah, I listen to hip hop music, and they'd go, "Whoa, you listen to that?" They're like, "No, we listen to Korn, man. Like this is that was at the time, right?"
Freak on a Leash, baby, Bakersfield, California. Shout out to Korn.
Freak on a Leash.
Yeah. I mean, to this day, I have literally never heard a Korn song, and I think a big piece of it is the fact that I felt a little resentment for.
You didn't even check out the video with the bullet going through the walls and stuff.
Bakersfield, California's that was Korn, baby. Let's go.
But either way,
something takes a part of me.
But I remember there was one the following year. That was when Eminem came out, and all these dudes who were like, "That's what you listen to? You listen to rap?" Were all of a sudden like all about Eminem. And initially, I was like, "Oh, maybe Eminem could open the door," because like, I was like, maybe he could open the door, right? Because Eminem, it's not like Eminem is on an island here. Like Eminem, we see him with Dre, we see him with Snoop, we see him, he's surrounded by D12, like
industry plant.
He at least can probably open the door to other artists.
He's an industry plant. Let's talk about it.
But then it was like,
talk about it. If you're at the forefront of any industry, you're an industry plant. It could be. It doesn't matter.
You don't necessarily even have to know you're the industry plant either.
Yeah, you don't have to know. It's okay to be like, this is the person we want to succeed.
I mean, I listen. I don't know if I would wholeheartedly say that Eminem is an industry plant, but it's kind of the same thing with the stuff that I said with Cena before. I kind of resented how much people loved him in the sense that there were other great rappers out, but there were certain people that were like, I don't listen to rap at all, but Eminem, I like his music.
Like
Wonder why.
WWE's big, like Roman Reigns is an industry plant. It doesn't have to be a bad way. It's like that's who they want to be their guy, so they're going to push him more than anybody else. Industry.
And here's the thing: I'm not knocking Slim as a rapper though, because like because like he's good, but it was just one of those things where it.
See, I just saw that comment. Best of his generation.
No, that's crazy. That's Bryan Danielson.
No.
But so anyway, I want to talk about things. All right, let's get into it. So there are new AEW World Tag Team Champions.
Oh shit.
And again, I talked about this a little bit earlier. I had no clue. I was really proud of the fact that we made that change to Swerve's music, and I called him the Tuesday just to confirm that he liked everything, and I hear Jessie in the background, and she's like, "Hey, Will," and I was like, "Hey, Jessie," and I was like, "Oh, that's cool that she," and I'm like, "That's cool that she came," and I'm referring to his girlfriend, Jessie Kamea, is who people knew her as in NXT. Heard her in the background, and I'm like, "Oh, that's cool that she's coming to Dynamite." Again, didn't even fucking register that she was there at the show, front row. Didn't even click that, of course, she'd be there for his moment. When, it's clicked with me every other time where I'm like, oh, such and such's family is here. This person's winning, right? Like, oh, we got the second.
There's not one message in our group chat of you being like, they're going to win because of this. Like, nothing, not one. So,
because I didn't know. For whatever reason, I was still like, okay, maybe she's just coming to see his first Dynamite main event. That's cool. Mind blown. And the match itself, I thought, just delivered from start to finish. I thought that it had the right combinations of everything I want to see in a pro wrestling match.
Swerve and Nick Jackson, could you guys have a one-on-one match, please? Thank you.
Swerve and Nick Jackson's, they went spot foo, and all I could think about was Reggie.
I was eating it up. I was like, yes, this is that shit right here, baby.
And I thought this was, Meltzer talked about the fact that this match was designed, and I've heard the same thing, that the match was designed to really put Keith Lee and Swerve on the map as elite talent in AEW. And
that's how you do it.
And so to make sure that they're seen in that upper echelon of AEW talent. And I feel like Swerve went out there to kind of remind people of who he is, because I think there are a lot of people who only knew his WWE work and are like, oh yeah, he's the rapper guy. When he's going to go in there with Nick Jackson and he's going to remind you that he's been with these guys for a long time. As I noted on Twitter, this is the 4th promotion that Swerve has wrestled the Young Bucks in. This isn't a new thing for him. He's when I say
an elite spot foo match. This guy's not, he's not new to this.
Yeah, no, he's not new to this. He's been in the ring with these guys before. But what was just, I feel like the match had the right sense of humor. I thought that Matt Jackson in there with Keith Lee each time was just was my type of wrestling humor. Him trying to Northern Light suplex, do the double on Keith Lee and Powerhouse Hobbs, and they just looked at him like, what is this guy doing? I thought it was great. I thought that Hobbs got to have one of his best showings. His frog splash, my God.
Let's go,
that was crazy.
Baby. Yeah,
that was crazy.
That's one that he's talked about. We've talked about before. He's like, I'm saving that one. I know when it's going to be the right time to hit it, and this was the perfect time. Hit it. Oh, my God.
I was so happy for everybody here, though. They got the
Ricky
main event.
Starks, I mean, how much more can we say about this guy? He's a huge star. Every showing he shows it, and in this match, you see why Ricky Starks gets the talk that he gets, because he just hits everything and is at every spot that he needs to be at the perfect time. What a great guy.
Yeah, no, I think hands down, this was the biggest moment of Swerve's career and biggest moment of Keith Lee's, and that was
Very hot match. Very hot finish.
Yeah, no, and I was just excited. And look, when I tweeted out, I was like, look, my cousin just won in the main event on national TV. And I had people who are like, I don't know which one's your cousin, but they've both won on national TV before the main event. Like, look, man, that was in a fucking studio in front of 5 people banging on banging on plexiglass. Like, that is not the same as... And Keith Lee's wasn't live. That we knew that one was coming because that was taped,
baby.
Yeah,
your boy tried to spill it. We haven't seen him on TV since.
But that was not the same. That was a big moment for the time. Mm-hmm. But to have this happen in front of a crowd on TV in the main event, you got confetti, all of that. It just felt special. It felt like a big deal. My household freaking lost it. Billy was running around screaming like crazy. He was like, "Can we FaceTime Swerve right now?" I'm like, look, he's got like a million things going on. He's got some things to do. And he's like, I just want to see the belts. So yeah, it was, I don't know. I was so excited. I was so happy. I couldn't believe, what had taken place there. And, it was a moment. It was a damn moment.
Very hot. I didn't expect, like I said, I didn't expect the ending, but this match was one of the matches, the main event of a hot show.
I knew it was going to be the main event, but
this was beautiful, man. I loved it.
Yeah.
I knew it was going to be the main event, but it was one of those, like, anything could have happened here. Like, Young Bucks retaining would have made perfect sense. Yeah. Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs. What ended up?
Had it for a minute.
What happened was honestly third on my list. Literally, when they hit their original tag finish, and the pin was broken up, my brain went to, all right, well, that's it. That was the shot at them winning. But let's see how we get to the finish. And it wasn't until Keith wiped everyone out, I see Swerve on the top rope, and my mind immediately went, there's nobody else. Everybody's wiped out. This is it. This is the finish right here. Whatever happens right here is the finish. And, brain kind of slows down time, and I'm like, as Swerve is in the air, I'm like, does Ricky, dodge it, roll him up? Something else happen? Nope, he hit it. And then it's like 1, 2, and I'm like, everybody's wiped out. There's nobody else in the ring. I look over at the time on the clock. I'm like, it's top of the hour. There's no time for anything else. If anything else is about to happen, 3, oh my God, they just won. And then I hear whose house? Swerve's house. Psst.
Yeah, man.
Greatest moment for me of 2022.
Just a great night, man. Oh, such a really good match. I mean, I think if they won, and that would have been enough, but it was the fact that it was the match of the night and probably one of the best matches of the year, in my opinion. Just everybody looked good, and I know that there was Bucks slander in here earlier, but man, the thing that I always give Bucks credit for is they always make the other teams look good. Like,
no matter who they're facing.
I've never seen them in a match where it doesn't feel like they are giving that other team possibly one of their best matches. And
they give it up.
They gave it up on Wednesday night, and man, everybody looked good. Like, I think that was the best part of it. Everybody got their shit in, and man, just
Tony Khan is just booking for me specifically. After that Rampage last night, I'm like, okay, dude, you can't make it this obvious. Like, it's too much of my influence on this show, dude. Relax.
No, honestly, here's the reason I give the Bucks the credit I give them is because for all the shit you hear from the Jim Cornette, really, and fans who don't like the Bucks, all of that, whatever. They'll say Cirque du Soleil, they'll say all of that stuff. Trust me, I'm not in a bubble. This is all stuff I hear and read.
It's corny. We can say it. It's corny.
I mean, but that's his name. It makes sense.
But when you hear from actual wrestlers who have shared the ring with the Young Bucks, the one thing that you'll always hear pretty consistently is that they're some of the most giving wrestlers that you could ever share a ring with. That when they talk to their opponents and talk about the matches, they want to make sure that their opponents get their shine, that they get to look good, that their opponents, they work with their opponents to make sure that they, in the process of having the match with them, got to look as good, and that nobody has cared about making the match work more than the Bucks do. I hear that all the time. And so in this particular instance, this was another case where they went out there to work with everybody. Everybody in this match, the Bucks got shine on the Bucks. Everybody in this match did. Keith Lee got to pounce the shit out of him. He got to catch Nick Jackson out of the air twice. Twice we got to do that spot.
Yeah,
crazy. Double flips.
And
that spin kick he did was nuts. Like, what?
Yep. And that was with Matt Jackson, right? And then Swerve got to have his shine with Nick Jackson, and they got to do their spot foo together. But then we also got to see we got to see numerous spots with Swerve and the Bucks. He got to do the kip up under the kick, which looked good. But then
that double one, yeah, that was sick.
Yeah, Powerhouse Hobbs, we talked about the fact that he got to do the spine buster stuff on both of them.
Ricky Starks 2 rope walks. The first one I was like, yo, huh? And then he did it a second time, and the second time it looked even better. I was like, dude, this dude Ricky is ridiculous.
That rope walk, diamond cutter spot, yeah, that was.
I feel like when you see the Bucks get in there with anybody, and this is the piece that I feel like they are truly not appreciated for, is that they will make sure that anybody they're in the ring with gets to shine. Right. And they're in a position, they're the EVPs, right? They're in a position to not do that, right? If they're in a better position than anybody to just not do that. And they do. Mm-hmm. And always have. Like, it's not like this is just new to AEW.
No,
always have. There's a reason why people want to get in the ring with them, and that's because you know that if you get in there with the Bucks, they're gonna shine, but so are you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
man. Let's get into it, because I saw some people saying goofy stuff, and I'm not gonna get into the takes themselves, but I'm just gonna point out that for anybody that was like, oh well, Swerve and Keith Lee haven't been booked well. Hey, they were in a great tag match at Double or Nothing. One of the best matches of that night.
Yeah.
And then I feel like they kind of stole the show in that buy-in match. Mm-hmm. And they, teased up to this match in that pay-per-view. We totally didn't catch it, by the way, that they were teasing to this match, because we were all in tunnel vision for FDR versus Young Bucks. But they were teasing to this the whole time. Then we get to it and have this great match out of it, and they still tease the split stuff, which I bid on right away, and I was like, oh no, Swerve, don't do it. And I bid on all the false finishes, so I just knew they weren't winning. And so at the end, I was like, are you kidding me?
They won. You know what, though? So I also am going to say this, and again, this is coming from the idea that if there's anything in pro wrestling I am the most critical of, it is anybody booking Swerve Strickland. Because anytime he's in any situation, I'm like, watch with a close eye. The moment he signed to NXT, I'm like, do right. You better be do right by my man's. Like, this is it. And anytime I'm like his debut in 205 Live, I was like, yes, look at this. This man just went out there.
The Gulak match?
Yeah, the Drew Gulak match in Miami,
really
American Airlines Arena had Miami chanting Swerve, and they didn't even know who he was in his entrance, which is, again, the mark of a true great wrestler, is when you can get a crowd into it and they don't even know who you are. And I watched that match and I was like, yes, he's got it. This is his thing. And then they kind of like screwed the build on 205 Live, and it's like, And the big part of that was that they introduced him as, which I thought was a great story. I was like, okay, introduce him as Drew Gulak's protege because he trained with Drew Gulak.
Right.
And so introduce him, and I was like, there's a story to tell here of him coming up short against Drew Gulak, but then every time he keeps coming closer till he finally beats Drew Gulak for the Cruiserweight title. And I'm pretty sure that's where it was heading. I heard things. And then, but then, of course, the writing team that takes precedence was like, nah, we're actually going to pluck Drew Gulak away from 205 Live and therefore derail this entire story, which just upset me, annoyed me. And it was one of those things where I'm always watching that kind of stuff with a close eye. I said all this to say that Swerve came in Revolution 2022. They gave him a big introduction. Tony Schiavone introduces him. And I was there that night. It felt like a big deal. And I was like, okay, we're off to the right track. We introduced him as a big deal. Mm-hmm. He's been on TV every week since. Whether it's Rampage or Dynamite, he's been on TV every week since. Sometimes it's in a backstage segment, sometimes, but he has not missed any television. Mm-hmm. And I've been paying attention to all of this. And the fact that with each passing time he's on TV, it became a bigger and bigger deal. Whether it was the first Dynamite match he got was the tag match with Starks and Hobbs. They lost, but they got to shine really well. That was the one in New Orleans. And then they had the three-way with Jungle Boy, Starks, and Swerve. Swerve got the victory on TV, and I still kept feeling like, okay, it seems like with each passing week, he's getting to shine more. In the two Battle Royals, he had the stories of both Battle Royals. And again, still feels like there's some shine happening here. They did the people against Swerve Strickland thing. They literally built, which was only designed, by the way, to get Orange Cassidy and Tony Nese in a match. But the fact that they used the people against Swerve Strickland to do that was like, okay, it still feels like he is valued in that company. And then for that victory to happen, I have felt like this run so far has been his... if I say this, I know people are going to be like, but what about Hit Row? But look, I feel like so far there has been a lot of value in him in this run. And the fact that they got the tag titles now feels good. It feels really good. I'm really happy.
I will say this about this run. I don't know if I would say it's his best run yet, but I do think that this feels the most like the Swerve I was introduced to before WWE. He's getting his own chant over. He's not just, oh, the rap guy or is that. No, it's Swerve. Like, this feels like what he was intended to be on TV.
I want to say I'm surprised about this. I want to say that this is a thing, but no, this is the homie legit saw the vision, told the vision and did it. So this is what he said he was going to do. He said
in his debut promo, he said I could talk about all the titles I'm going to win. And you saw him post the image. He's won titles every company he's been in. And now officially, you could check this one off. There's officially no companies he's been in that he didn't win a title. And I guess except SmackDown. SmackDown's the only brand which he was on for like 3 episodes. Right. But he won titles in WWE. He can not say that you don't sign Swerve Strickland and not give him gold, and now he has gold again. I'm really happy. Couldn't be happier.
Nah, man. Yeah. You know how I feel about Swerve. I think he's one of the best in the world, man. I think it's only a matter of time before he's winning singles gold. I need to see that big belt on him, man. I need it.
Yeah.
I think it's going to happen. But right now, I want to take some time and give a shout out to our sponsor. And that is over at Starrcast 5, happening in Nashville. Starrcast 5 is going to be the biggest Starrcast yet. July 29th, the 30th, the 31st, Nashville, Tennessee at the Nashville Fairgrounds. There's going to be panel shows, including Renee Paquette's Sessions featuring Bryan Danielson, Saraya Turning the Page, The Last Ride of the Four Horsemen, and Bret Hart 30 years later. And Starrcast will be capped off by Ric Flair's last match, taking place Sunday night at Nashville Municipal Auditorium, featuring some of the best talent from MLW, AAA, Impact, New Japan Pro Wrestling, AEW, and more. Announced matches include there's Briscoes versus Von Erichs. There's Josh Alexander versus Jacob Fatu. There's going to be Rachel Ellering, Deonna Purrazzo, and Jordan Grace in a 3-way knockouts match. Killer Cross and Harry Smith. Ren Narita versus Clark Connors. Ray Phoenix, Bandito, Torres, and Laredo Kid in a 4-way match. And the show is headlined by the final match in the historic career of Nature Boy Ric Flair. If you're in Nashville, head to Starrcast.com for more information on Starrcast tickets, meet and greets, and last match tickets. For those of you who won't be in Nashville, head to RicFlairsLastMatch.com to pre-order the event and watch the incredible docuseries Ric Flair, The Last Match, with new episodes every Monday at 6:05 p.m. Again, Starrcast happening in just a couple of weeks here. Or not here, but in Nashville, Tennessee. If you're going to be there, check it out.
Isn't it all connected to the SummerSlam?
Yeah, it's all SummerSlam weekend.
Yeah,
everything happening there. So check it out. Again,
anytime WWE has a big show, there's always some other big event going on that you should also check out. Bret the Hitman Hart, 30 years later, that's always going to be some heat. And there's a lot of cool things happening. There's a lot of dope matches happening on that Ric Flair show. So y'all should definitely check it out on Fight TV.
Yes. And let's read some super chats. We got RH says, I bet hard on Hobbs and Starks winning during Ricky's pin. I would love for them to win, but now all I want is House of Black versus Swerve in Our Glory. That's one I want to see. I tweeted yesterday that I want to see Lucha Bros, because look, I've seen Swerve tie it up with Penta, and I am just straight up like, you know what?
Both of them in Lucha Underground, that's gonna...
Yeah, I very much love seeing High Flyers mix it up with Keith Lee. I think him catching folks out of the air is always one of the best spots.
But yeah, him and Brody King have history, so that's definitely could be in the works there. They definitely would do some great shit together.
There's a lot I want to see. There's a lot you could do with this reign. I say do it and do it quickly. Jake Salazar says, Age of Ultron was trash because Joss Whedon, just saying, a bona fide hack and a trash director who has ruined almost every superhero movie he has done. Disagree, because
disagree.
The first Avengers, and also, look, I get it. I think he is a trash person. I also recognize that I'm a big Buffy the Vampire Slayer person, and so it's one of those ones.
I can't agree. I like you said, he's trash, but he's also created several things I like in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Astonishing X-Men is a great run that he wrote. I'm sorry, I enjoyed it. And no, the Age of Ultron is not a bad movie. I don't agree with that. There are parts of it that don't work, but there are parts of it that are really good. The part where Quicksilver dies. Sorry, spoilers if you haven't seen it. How have you not seen it?
Wow.
Came out 8 years ago. There ain't no spoilers 8 years later.
So when Quicksilver dies,
I was about to watch that tonight. That's crazy.
So when Quicksilver dies and like the entire scene slows down and Wanda destroys all the bots and then like annihilates Ultron, just rips his heart out his chest. I pop for it every time. It looks amazing. Come on, man. It's a good movie. I just don't agree.
JDE says, what's good, fellas? I usually hit up Will and Phil on Twitter. Enjoy the convos, but I need to hit up Righteous. Much love, fam.
That's me. What's up?
Yeah, hit up Reg. Reg is always fun.
I'm always around.
Back to Maj Hates All says, Booker on commentary in TNA was night and day compared to WWE when he was Black Snow and did commentary while beating everyone up. Yes. I 100% agree. Brent Lockman says, trying to stay positive, but I'm more than a little sick of people that have turned bad faith into a business model. Yes. Agreed.
Yeah,
it's nasty out there.
It's nasty out here for real.
Jake says, Eminem is corny AF. Like, come on, let's be real now. Again,
people like that.
I've enjoyed Eminem music, but I do very much detest the side of the world that's like he's the best rapper and they don't listen to any other rap. Like if that's just your opinion based off other rap you listen to, but if you're just I only listen to Eminem, so he's the best. That's
it's not how this works. It's not how
I am La Lucha says, as great as M is, he stole his whole style from Master Ace when they did that Soul Calibur song together. Master Ace never gets his proper flowers.
Yeah, shout out to Master Ace.
Let's see, we got Van Twinblade says, speaking of hip hop, thoughts on A$AP Rock, not ASAP Rocky, the guy that did No Jumper Cables in Daylight. Yeah, no, I used to listen to A$AP Rock back in the day.
The legend.
And yeah, he's a legend.
Yeah, dope rapper.
Yeah. Nothing more to add to that. I definitely knew who you were talking about difference-wise, but
you don't have to say not A$AP Rocky. Yeah.
We're of the culture here. You're not talking. You're not talking to some dudes that are not up on the music.
Speaking of for the culture, I finally listened to that Lupe, and yes, bravo, Lupe Fiasco. What a project, dude is going crazy on there.
I feel like it's album of the year so far. Maybe that's me being biased, but for me, it's my favorite album of the year so far.
I still like the Benny album. I think the Benny album is my favorite album.
The Benny album is very good.
There's been some good shit this year, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, of course, the Kendrick album is up there too.
Yeah.
Talking about the match itself, I love me some. Sova says, shed a few tears after that finish. Great match.
Yeah, this was one of the first times in a while where the finish of a wrestling show, I was so hyped that I couldn't sleep. Like, I was just up because I'm like, I'm just excited.
It's wired.
It doesn't happen that often, but I was definitely super excited after the show because I didn't see this coming at all.
My whole family was buzzing. My mom watches the show and she's always like, she gets mad when Swerve gets pinned, especially. And so she was like, she thought that's what was going to happen here when it didn't. Because she bit on the finish of, she told me she thought it was over when he got hit with the BTE trigger. And she was like, why you got to do him like that? That's my mom. And when he won, again, it just everybody if you looked at Facebook, all of my family members were just like, yes. Everybody's just talking about it. It's a great time. Shanika says, I was lucky enough to be in the building and may have shed a couple of tears while jumping up and down. Won't ever forget that match or that moment. I love it.
That's what you love to hear.
Yeah. Ronan Mike Clip says, speaking of Swerve and Lee, I know Tony gets a lot of flack for not utilizing talent that comes over correctly, but how much of that is Tony rebuilding these talents back up from the damage WWE has done to their image? Well, that's the thing is that, like, I feel like Swerve to me is so much of a departure from his last heel run at the end of his WWE run. And he's grown so much from his babyface run in WWE that I feel like he comes off like a new performer. Not even a new performer, because I feel like we're seeing a lot of the shades of what he was doing on the indies. But I don't feel like it's the same guy. Like, even if, I don't know, it doesn't feel like it to me. But that's possibly just me. A couple more notes, and then we have somebody we got to get to. Jake says, the same people who think he's the best rapper ever probably also still believe that Jesus was white.
Jake's going in today.
Jake.
Getting them checks off, buddy.
Ralph Marion says, what's good, fam? Just stopping by before I go to work. Much love to y'all. What's y'all's thoughts of the Terminus card for next week?
Wow, look at this guy just bringing it together.
What? Wow. Segue? Because we actually have a guest who's got a little bit to talk about and promote. But we are joined.
Homie did not listen when the homie said, you don't want no problems. He didn't listen to that. He didn't. Like he never heard that song. I don't know why he didn't listen to that song. He told us in the song, you don't want no problems. Oh, he said it.
But we are actually joined by the one and only Baron Black. Baron Black,
friend of the show. Guess who's here?
Hold up. I'll get your graphic up in just a second, but we can hear you. Yes.
Via phone. You're on your way. Baron Black, are you here? Can you hear us? Nope.
We can see you, can't hear you.
But we can't hear you.
Yeah, hold up. Here we go. All right, go ahead.
Oh, y'all can't see me?
Yeah, now hold on. We can see you in just a sec. The graphic is doing the thing, and
graphic is doing the thing.
Graphic is doing the thing. Hold up. All right, we will do that for a sec. Baron Black
doing the thing. What's up, Baron Black? Look who's here. It's funny, we were just talking about great AEW talents, all these people doing these fantastic things. Speaking of AEW and speaking of the opposite of fantastic, somebody in this chat right here is 0 and 50 when it comes to AEW records and rankings. So let's just start out there. How does it feel to be the opposite Mayweather right here?
Opposite Mayweather is wild.
AEW.
So let me get it straight. We're going to start with that. That's what we're going to start with.
How else do you want to start? I was just curious about
that's what we're going to start with. I ain't been on this show in like months, and you're going to start with that.
Look, I'm curious. The fans are curious, Baron. Everybody watches AEW Dark, AEW Dynamite. We see you on there putting in great efforts. You're just never like going down getting squashed. You are out there putting in valiant efforts every single time. But we just wonder, how does it feel to be opposite Mayweather 0 and 50 out here in these streets?
Why do you have to call it opposite Mayweather? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
That's just how I'm just talking. I'm talking for the people here, not for me. I'm talking. This is what the people are saying there, and that's all I'm saying.
Why you got to be so disrespectful? Why you can't be respectful like Will, like Phil? You just got to be disrespectful every time you see me.
I'm just saying. That's all I'm saying. No, welcome to the show.
You know what it sounds like to me, Red?
What it sound like?
It sounds like you want to come out of retirement. That's what it sounded like. That's what it sounded like to me.
Hey, that's the next match, Battle Slam, right? Battle Slam.
You really want to catch these hands in these submission holds just like little Scrappy gonna catch. That's what you want.
But hey, let's talk. Let's talk about it though. Baron Black versus Lil Scrappy.
Yes, Baron,
you want problems.
You did not listen to the song that Lil Scrappy came up with. You don't want no problems. You want these problems. How did you get into it with Lil Scrappy?
Well, first of all, let's put it like this. Emperor don't back down from no man. I don't care what walk of life you come from. I think that's really been put out there very obviously. Mm-hmm. But let's just say I had a little mishaps at the last Battle Slam show, and he decided that he was going to start his performance early while I was still sitting in the damn ring. So that was quite disrespectful to me. So I had to go ahead and snatch the mic out of his hand, and I broke his chain in the process. That's why everybody really reacted the way they did. Whoa. And that's good for him. He could go buy another one. He got the money. But as I proceeded to, let out my grievance and differences and try to say what's on my mind, he decided he was going to grab me and give me a uranagi. So I didn't want any
problems. He hit you with the rock bottom in the middle of the ring, bro. That's some disrespect on your own show.
You got the scrap bottom.
Like I said, there's consequences and repercussions for everybody that has actions, especially pertaining to me on my show in my city. Right. And on July 28th, you will see those consequences and repercussions.
Yep.
That's right. That's right. You see that beautiful
Georgia.
Right
there? Scrappy represents Atlanta like no other. So, I mean, this is his territory, honestly. Like, is it his territory? Whose territory is this? Crazy out here.
Is it his territory, though?
I don't know, man. It's Baron's hometown, too, man.
I'm saying.
Is it his territory? I understand he's on the little goddamn show with Love and Hip Hop or whatever it's called. But is it his territory? This ain't 2004 no more. This is 2022. When they talk about Atlanta, I am brought up now because I run this city now. It's my damn city now. That's what you need to realize.
Mm-hmm. I did see, by the way, that a certain other guy couldn't believe that you were rapping. Well, not rapping, but wrestling. Lil Scrappy, and that is one Bow Wow. And I saw that you were tweeting back and forth with him. Do you think that's going to go anywhere, or are you just trying to get in where you fit in?
Hey, let's get Bow Wow in there, too.
Yeah, we need to get Bow Wow here, too.
I don't know where little Bart coming from. I guess he's trying to slide in there, too, and get an ass whooping. I don't know. But he's welcome, too. Mm-hmm. He wants to step up to the most hated. He want to step up into the submission advocate. He can. I'll stretch his ass too. It doesn't matter. You can bring all the damn rappers at this damn point because obviously celebrities want to do what the hell they want to do. Everybody wants to come into wrestling and do what they please, so just bring them on. Just line them all the hell up. I'll knock them all down. That's how I feel about it right now.
Yeah, Bow Wow is like trying to claim Atlanta too. I don't know how you feel about that. He is a Ohioan that has been trying to claim Atlanta for a long time. Mm-hmm. Feels a little disrespectful to me, man. Just saying.
Look, I'm gonna say this when it pertains to Battle Slam and Scrap. A lot of people don't know he is a passionate wrestling fan. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That's how he ended up on Battle Slam in the first place, because he was a passionate wrestling fan and he wanted to do something in professional wrestling. And of course, everybody was a fan of his music, including me. But now that's all out the window. He don't lay hands upon the emperor. Now that's all out the damn window. So I have to put hands upon thee. That's what I'm going to do.
Word. Wow, that's very interesting. Very big battle turn over here for Battle Slam this time. What other kind of dope stuff do you guys got happening on this show, July 28th, Atlanta, Georgia, Oasis Event Center? What other kind of hot stuff could the fans expect?
Well, we also have the rest of the card, which you most likely saw. Mm-hmm. We're having qualifying matches for the Battle Slam World Championship Tournament, which will take place next month now. The date will be announced soon, but it will take place next month. So we're having qualifying matches for people to get into the tournament. So far, 3 individuals have qualified for this tournament: JDX, Richard King, and y'all favorite Lee Moriarty, who's undefeated at Battle Slam. So we're going to fill out the rest of that bracket, and we're going to crown our first champion. I just hate that I am preoccupied with somebody thinking they could do whatever they want to do on my damn show. But I'm going to make an example out of him. That's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to make an example out of him, and he going to learn.
Right.
He going to learn who run this city. He going to learn who the real emperor is.
Right. Sure. Are you guys going to have performances this time?
Yeah, we always going to have performances.
Yeah.
That's Battle Slam, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, performers are going to be announced very soon.
Okay.
Probably some people that you 3 do know.
Dope.
You know what I mean? And we're going to have a couple of surprises, but there will be performances. There will always be performances at Battle Slam. That's the whole essence of the whole show, of bringing the 2 worlds together, having 2 worlds collide for a showcase event. So performances will always be
And will this be released the same way? You guys record it and then release it on Fight TV at a later date?
It will be on Fight TV. You have to wait later for announcement on when you will be able to watch it.
Okay.
It may be live. It may be somewhere else. You never know, but it's a very exciting time.
Yeah.
For sure, for Battle Slam.
Speaking of worlds colliding, I thought it was dope to see you guys on actual hip hop outlets this time around because of the Scrappy match. And I was like, yeah, that's got to be the move, right? To get on other outlets outside of the wrestling circles.
I didn't hear what you said. What you said?
Oh no, I was saying it was dope to see you guys on hip hop outlets and not just wrestling outlets this time around.
Yeah, it's been really good to see that. A lot of hip hop outlets have picked up this match. As you just said, Bow Wow picked up the match and started talking about it. It's going to be some very important people in attendance to watch this match that I really can't believe is going to be here simply because he's wrestling. But expect more coverage, more national media coverage over Battle Slam.
That's what's up.
Because, anybody who's anybody in Atlanta is going to be at this show. Mm-hmm. I can just put it to you like that, in attendance. So everybody in the wrestling world, everybody that's watching this wonderful podcast that comes on every week, everybody that's on the IWC on the internet, everybody that's in the hip hop world is going to watch me make Scrap tap the hell out. And it's going to be beautiful. I'm going to enjoy every second of it.
Now, 1 week before we get there, though, you have another match coming up, Oasis Event Center. Terminus, for the second time.
Yeah.
You are going one-on-one. They were just asking about
Terminus.
Yep, you're going one-on-one with Jay Lethal. Fight TV.
Yeah.
What are you going to do differently against Jay Lethal here?
Usually, an average man would fear moments like this. To have 2 matches of this caliber back to back and back to back weeks, it will make any man fear for their future. But I needed this rematch. I needed it. And especially, I have a special message for Jay Lethal that will be released later today. So you all will be able to see that in a mere few hours. But I needed this rematch because I felt like I had Jay Lethal beat at Terminus 2. And I feel like the way this year has gone has been all due to that match. It's been all due to that match. I've been in this rut, as Reg will likely say, the 0-50. I felt like February set it all for me to get to that point because I did not finish the job I came to do, which was beat the man, and the man is Jay Lethal. And I had him beat. And the clock saved. And we all know how it ended in overtime. So I have to get this rematch to try to reverse the synergy that the universe has put in my way. I have to reverse everything that has happened to me, and it starts with Jay Lethal because Jay Lethal is that damn good, and I feel like he is the bar for professional wrestling, and I have to defeat him. So I have to do this match. It's my destiny. I feel like this is my destiny for me to beat this man because everything else will fall into place for me.
That's a great way to sum it up. Yes, man. 2 weeks in a row, 2 big matches. Baron Black is out here to show y'all that the Emperor is here to stay and on his way to some championships. Catch him in Terminus. Next week, next week after that, catch him at Battle Slam. You're going to see a bunch of amazing stuff. Baron Black, we appreciate you coming on and talking your talk. We appreciate you having this great match a little scrappy. It's going to make a lot more headlines, man. I appreciate you.
And one last thing. I know y'all watching Terminus live, right?
Yeah.
I only seen 2 head nods. I only seen 2 head nods in this whole thing.
I'm gonna watch. We're all gonna be watching Terminus LIVE. Yes, we're gonna be there. It's gonna be
man. Two of us pulled up, man. Like we give it up for you, man.
Yeah. I'm just trying to make sure. Yes. I'm just trying to make sure. And remember, y'all not gonna want to miss these 2 shows. Everybody who's watching in the chat, you would not want to miss these 2 shows. I promise you, the whole lineup for Terminus is stacked. We're finally back. The Battle Slam show is stacked. It's going to be a historic night. It's going to be historic. It's going to be a historic last end of the month for the city of Atlanta and Georgia as a whole, because it kind of seems like just every event is happening in Georgia, right, all the way up until the last weekend before SummerSlam. So
yeah.
It's going to be historic. So make sure y'all tune in for that. And
so that's right. Y'all got Dynamite in Atlanta this week. Duluth, but
it was there. It was in Georgia last week where your cousin won the AEW Tag Team Championships. Congratulations to him. Yeah, you're not gonna want to miss this. Trust me. The clips that's going to be made of me stretching this man back to loving him is going to be beautiful. So y'all just make sure you don't miss it.
Absolutely.
Trust me when I tell you, I've been preparing for Jay Lethal, and I'm going to give him a whole nother form of Baron Black that he ain't never seen before. See, I got the scout on him now. I got him figured out, I believe. So now, y'all about to see it.
Dope.
Trust me, you don't want to miss these 2 shows.
All right. Thank you, Baron Black. Thank you for joining us here on Grapsody. Always a good time.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate you, Baron.
No problem, bro.
Always a great time with Baron Black, and always a great time when Reg has a guest.
What that was?
Just tried to knock down your whole set, buddy.
My setup.
Yo, he got the Reg setup knocked down.
Jeez Louise. Sorry about that, you guys.
All right, so what other notes do we got? Oh, and by the way, other things happening on Terminus, in case you aren't quite sold by what you just heard, come on, guys.
Yo, that's going to be fire.
Yeah, this is going to be crazy. Definitely looking forward to that match.
Konosuke Takeshita is just this. When he tweeted that he was going on this American expedition, I don't think anybody knew that it was going to be what it's been.
I didn't think it was going to be every week, back to back. Every weekend he has at least one dope match. This is crazy. And the match he just had with Moxley, like, bro, this is crazy. And he's going to follow it up with Jonathan Gresham. This is insane.
Yeah, that's going to be crazy. You're totally distracted by a comment that says Shockmaster just busted. Yeah.
No, for real.
See, I swear, if you're only listening to the audio of this, you have no idea. But
I have no idea. Shockmaster, that's hilarious.
They say Corrupt Reg has entered the building.
Yeah, I don't know what happened here. Life is crazy. What shit are you going to be playing on? That's funny.
And so, either way, great stuff happening this week. So, I want to talk about Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks. So, of course, Philip Lindsey mentioned before that she's going to be at the C2E2 convention. Happens in Chicago every year. And there's a lot of talent actually announced for C2E2. CM Punk was just announced.
Got Punk. We got Danhausen. I believe Lita, Trish Stratus, and Mick, I think.
Wow.
But
when is this?
August 5th.
August 5th.
Okay.
Yeah, August 5th through the 6th.
So we get to see what CM Punk is looking like up close and personal
in Chicago.
I got excited. I saw he's on his Instagram. It looks like he's working out again. I was like, might have our guy ready for All Out.
He's on the All Out poster. Like he's been
on all the graphics.
Yeah, when they showed the promo for All Out, there was CM Punk at the very end, and because I wasn't sure, because I'm like, okay, if they promote CM Punk here, then that tells me that there's at least an expectation that he'd be back. And then when they show him at the very end holding the title, and I went, that's it.
It's coming home, buddy. The title's coming home.
There's our main event for All Out, CM Punk versus Jon Moxley, AEW World Championship, undisputed.
It's come on, man. It's coming home. I've been waiting to say this for 2 months. Should have been coming home in June, but that's all right. It's coming home.
I can't tell if Reg froze or if he just like looking at us like, I think he froze. But I'm like, yeah, no, this is the whole time. This is the funniest episode of all time. Oh shit. Yeah, nah, the oh hell. So I don't even know what else we got here.
We were talking about Sasha Banks.
Sasha Banks. So, Fightful Select reported. Actually, so it was reported multiple places, but Fightful Select really did some digging and got some great information on all of this. Oh, and here comes the righteous one, Mr. Red, back in the building. There we go.
We are back.
Yes.
Boy, that freeze that it stayed on was hilarious.
Yes.
It's a chaotic Saturday over here, you guys. I don't know what's going on here.
It's all good.
Jesus criminy.
So
I'm back.
It froze on the perfect shot though. It was hilarious. Yeah, they're just calling it the meme phases. So good.
Yo, no, I'm back, you guys. Jeez Louise, what are we talking about?
All right, so Sasha Banks, FightfulSelect.com. great stuff coming to Fightful Select real soon. I'm not talking about any reports. I'm specifically talking about content coming from us. We'll be announcing that soon.
Oh, that's going to be fun.
That's going to be real fun. But Fightful Select, as far as reports were concerned, did some digging. As far as, because everybody wants to know, what is the deal with Sasha Banks? Is she released? Is she not? Raj Giri reported that she's been released since June 10th. And so shout out Sean Ross Sapp for asking the real questions, which is, if she's able to be booked for something like this, how was that done? And he asked around, and he got some really good answers. And a couple of the answers he got in this case revolved around the fact that in one particular case, it was said that she will not be taking wrestling bookings till 2023. That goes hand in hand with something I had heard a couple weeks ago about her having, in getting her release, having an extensive non-compete clause because she's still under contract for a while. So that would make sense. But it was also said that a lot of the conversations that were had stated that we would not have gotten as far in discussions as we had gotten if she wasn't under contract with WWE. Because usually it's pretty much a nope kind of conversation. Like, you approach somebody who's WWE, all you get a response back from is, no, this person's under contract with WWE, cannot engage in these discussions. The fact that they got that far said that something is happening.
Well, a nice piece of trivia that kind of makes this hand in hand is one of the first guys from WWE that wanted to start doing conventions was one Chick Magnet Punk. And he didn't start really doing them until he left the company, if you remember.
Right.
He started doing WizardCon, and, now he's doing T2E2 as well. That is very interesting.
Yeah, but of course, the biggest thing that came out of this, and I got this the day before.
Speaking of biggest.
Yeah, biggest thing to come out of this, and I knew it was going to lead to what it did, it's not out there who said it, right? No, I don't think so. I don't think Sean published that.
Yeah,
okay.
I don't think so.
So that one I won't put out there, but I will say that the a promoter did confirm that in booking Sasha, her asking price was $30,000.
$30K, a big bag.
$30,000.
Big bag, baby.
Big bag. Now, this has led to a discussion all over Twitter over whether or not Sasha Banks is worth $30,000. To which I say, anybody asking this can't afford Sasha Banks, so shut the fuck up.
Exactly.
But more than that, you're not paying it. Like, no. I saw some dude jump in my comments and he's like, she's worth $5,000. I'm like, you ain't got $5,000 to pay neither. So, nobody's worried about you. You're not the one paying it. But if a promoter decides, and this was the part that people were missing, this promoter that had confirmed to Sean that that her asking price was $30,000 is going to book her. They didn't say that saying like, oh, she's worth $30,000. Hell no, not paying that.
Just like, hey, this is how much it costs, and I'm gonna pay it.
Yeah,
no, this is definitely the Conway record. She already got it, buddy. She already got it.
For real. She's like, am I not worth it? Doesn't matter. I'm getting that $30K.
Nah, definitely the juice line. Why do you get the gun? Because I already got it, motherfucker.
Yeah, this isn't a big surprise. Sasha Banks is worth $30K. They don't really know how these other deals work. It's because like all the other legends and other wrestlers stuff isn't public, so they think like, oh, seems insane, but this is like pretty not that insane for a giant superstar that leaves the company to go on to other things,
Yeah, massive superstar.
So, I've booked talent before for events, and I've had
look at this guy.
As in, not like I'm spending out of my own pocket, but I have dealt with the booking side of it. So, like, I've seen what certain talent charges. Certain, like, recently released talent has charged. And so, I will say that Sasha Banks, let's do some math here, is at least 6 times more expensive than the most expensive talent I've ever booked. And they were released WWE talent, but also Sasha Banks 6 times a star. If not 10 times a star.
Not 10 times. Right.
And so
I don't think people underestimate, because I've seen a lot of people being like, has the blood ever surrounding Sasha Banks died down? No, it's just because she's not visible. As soon as she's visible, it's lit out here for anybody who is attached to her. As we can see right here, they announced this signing and people have been talking about it. That's all they can talk about now is she worth it? Is she this? Where's she gonna show up with next? Who's gonna be able to afford her? So like, come on, dude, like she's talking to town.
I was at WrestleCon in 2019. You know who had the longest line at WrestleCon? And probably came super expensive, but at the same time was clearly worth it. Eva Marie.
Yeah.
Eva Marie had the longest line at WrestleCon.
And she has a big price tag because she's going to carry that stuff.
Right. Well, I saw a lot of my favorites, right, at WrestleCon. But at the end of the day, I looked over, I saw Eva Marie, had a line around the block. Sasha Banks is going to like triple that. Right. And like thinking about, I don't understand how anybody can see the Sasha crew on social media. See how you have to center yourself when talking about Sasha Banks just to make sure that your mentions aren't flooded. How can you see that and not think that people aren't buying plane tickets right now to Chicago to see her at C2E2?
She's going to have the biggest line.
She is a star. But let's talk about the fact that I truly believe that the only reason people are even having this conversation about Sasha Banks is because she's a black woman. Like, period. Yeah, I don't think you don't know CM Punk's asking price, but you know it's high.
Yeah. Definitely.
You would never question that.
I bet it's more than $30K.
Yeah.
Definitely.
You'd never sit here and question that. You wouldn't even have this conversation.
No. Absolutely not. It is weird that every time, a black woman either is getting their money or they're in negotiations for something, it's always a way to try and make them look difficult. And I feel like this is an offshoot of them still trying to run with this. Oh, well, she's so unprofessional. She's so big-headed. And like, the thing that's unsaid is everything that is reported of what her problems were when she left turned out to be true.
Right.
I don't see no tag titles on TV. So
also Fightful Select report this week that everything I said about the Hornswoggle stuff is kind of happening, right? That like they said we have a tournament at a future date, and not only is there no tournament on the horizon, there's no female tag teams to even like hint at doing a tournament.
There might be even less than when they left.
They're not booking anybody as tag teams. They're not putting any emphasis on those belts. Nothing, bro. So it seems like she was right. So anybody that's still trying to run with, she's unprofessional and trying to, again, say that she doesn't have value outside of the company. No, your narrative is failing, bro. She's getting booked. Right. Sorry.
Definitely.
Yeah, and like I said, they were arguing at the barbershop, and it was really just one person arguing in favor of, like, Sasha Banks ain't got it like that, because there was a $30,000 argument that we were having at the barbershop.
It's $30K. Why y'all acting like she asking for 6 figures? What's going on, man?
Yeah, it's $30K.
y'all sound real ashy, man. What's going on?
Yeah, this was, like, seriously, I do recommend... If you ever want to have good barbershop wrestling discussion, my barbershop is a good one to do it.
I'll make sure to fly all the way to Aurora to do that.
Right. I'm about to get my hair cut. Let me pull up to Will's barber.
But I will say that
wrestling talk. Turn
people were
on.
arguing over the $30,000 and whether or not she's worth it. And but like, look, Sasha Banks, even if you just take her as a professional wrestler, because the thing is, when you look at how she's advertised for C2E2, she's advertised as Mercedes Renato. They put in quotes Sasha Banks. Do you know what that means when you put something in quotes? That's like when you have like What's a good example?
When you shit is capers, bro. They treat Sasha Banks like it's capers on the side of the meal, bro.
Right? No, it's like when you book Jason David Frank for something, and then you put Tommy in quotes. Like it's like that's a thing he did, but that's not who this is. And the fact that it says Mercedes Vernado, and then it has her listed with her Mandalorian credits. It has Mandalorian and Sasha Banks. And
capers, bro. That shit is next to the entree.
Yeah. And so just the fact that that's just another thing she did. It's listed as roles Mercedes Vernado has played. So when I see that, I think about the fact that, like, look, this was a big booking. She's working C2E2, and she's there alongside Trish Stratus and Lita and Mick Foley and CM Punk. These are stars, and she's gonna keep getting these kinds of bookings. Again, we just talked about.
It's just the beginning for this.
Yeah, this is just the beginning.
Yeah.
No. Sasha Banks is totally worth it, and I think that what she ends up doing in 2023 is all going to be really interesting. I think she is going to be, and yeah, they're talking about in the chat stuff PW Insider reported. Yeah, that's tied to the 30,000 stuff. So we will absolutely see how that goes. Naomi's another one who's been in the headlines recently. She had a tweet that she had to delete 3 times.
I liked it every time I saw it. Every time it popped up,
I'm about to get 3 retweets right now.
I re-liked it, so you know.
No, I thought it was funny though. Like people who are giving her shit, like she's laughing. Like it's not like.
No, she's clearly having fun.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what she does too. She seems to be getting slowly out there, slowly getting her name back in these headlines. So yeah.
Sean's of the belief that she's gonna go back. I don't know. It all depends. They on the sky is kind of the limit for her too. That she is gonna get booked wherever she wants to get booked, and she is gonna get there. So
I'd be surprised if she went back, but then I also wouldn't be surprised if she went back.
I mean, at the end of the day, like the couples do want to work together. There's one thing on that regard, right?
Exactly.
But then on the other side of that, we've seen the couples get screwed, right? Like Zelina Vega said that she went back because she wanted to work with Malachi, and she felt like, you know what, let's keep it all in one place. So she re-signed with WWE, and then they released Malachi like right after. And so like
he was like right behind him.
Yeah.
Close that gate right on up behind him. She was staring through the bars.
Yeah. Which was a very whack thing to do, by the way. But then you've got of course you've got other couples. You've got Charlotte and Andrade on 2 sides of it. You've got Buddy Matthews and Rhea Ripley on 2 different sides, which, by the way, speaking of Rhea Ripley, I feel like she's got competition now from the other side because...
Whoa, what you talking about competition?
I'm like, yo.
What you know that I don't know?
Hey, now.
What I was talking about is just the fact that guys have been going crazy over her pins for a long time, but all of a sudden now Wardlow is out here getting ladies going crazy over his pin on the Orange Cassidy. Yeah. So I feel like, I don't know, in some way, shape, or form, we got to see those two go one-on-one, and then see them both attempt to pin each other.
I think people would like that a lot.
I think people will love that. Yeah. One might even say that, and here's how we'll transition, is not quite TV PG content. That is that would be more for a TV 14 type of show.
Right.
And Andrew Zarian reported that WWE is looking to go back to a TV 14 type product. That his original report, and this was via a memo that had gone around USA Network, that it's going to start this Monday, but then a lot had changed, and basically it's like it's still on the table, but and I imagine my theory on this is that it was likely a plan in place, but WWE has so many irons in the fire that it's never just like a you make a decision and everybody, and it's just, you do it, right? Like, you have this iron in the fire of, USA Network is like, hey, let's do it. Let's have WWE Raw go TV 14, right? And it's like everybody's on board. And then you get a phone call from like Mattel, who and Mattel is like, "Wait, you're doing what?"
No, y'all not.
We got some toys coming out tomorrow, bro. What you mean?
Hold up, we didn't discuss this. Like, let's pump the brakes on that. And so there's a lot of moving pieces that could change it. Now, it was a draft of an internal memo, and it's apparently still in the works.
Yeah. Just was a little premature.
Yeah, it was just a little premature, but it's in the works that they want a TV 14 program. What does that mean for the program? A lot of people think that it could mean the return of the Attitude Era.
No, definitely not.
Because the creative changes aren't necessarily changing. But what does it mean for, say, the presentation of the wrestling?
Man, the funniest tweet I showed you guys, the funniest tweet I saw when when dude put the beginning of One Blood.
Oh yeah, all of the Cody tweets, and I'm glad Cody played into it. But everybody was straight up like, "Look, man, Cody is
Cody's the reason." People were saying Cody is the reason that they changed it. I'm like, that's hilarious.
I could see it being possibly that, but I also could see Toxic Attraction coming to the main roster and part of their appeal being.
But they're already on a PG show. Like, you don't have to change for that,
right?
But
they're already horny.
Once they get on the main roster, your boy Vince is gonna turn it up a few more levels.
Yeesh.
Like, I really think that I think it does mean the return of Blood, likely. Which I think is funny because it's almost a complete repeat of the 90s, right? Where in the 90s, I talked about this on Day After Dynamite, so if you've heard me say this already, I'm sorry, I'm repeating it. But in the 90s, Vince McMahon publicly chastised WCW for the use of blood. He called it self-mutilation. He talked all the shit, and he was like, it's a gross practice, and that's what you're going to get over there. But over here at our program, you're not going to get that. And we knew what that was. What he was doing there was sabotaging his competition with advertisers to say, like, you could advertise on their product, where you're going to get some self-mutilation, or on our product, you're going to get a more family-friendly product. And the reason that's even worth bringing up is because he ended up eventually doing it too.
Right.
That he talked all the shit, and then he ended up doing it.
Bret Hart forced it a few times. Bret Hart was like, "Ooh, I don't know how I got cut out there, boss. It's crazy." So they were like, you know what? Let's think twice about this little blood thing. Yeah, it's pretty much reminiscent of that. Of like, because for so long we're just like, we don't do that. That's not how we get.
They talked about it. They right after the first Double or Nothing, Vince McMahon was like, I don't know how much TNT is going to put up with all that blood and guts stuff, and then they ended up trademarking blood and guts and making it a match,
which was hilarious, by the way.
Yeah,
that was hilarious.
And then even earlier this year, when they had the New Year's match between Penelope Ford and the Bunny versus Ty and Anna Jay, and WWE put out a statement about the blood and that, and having women bleed, and so it's funny to me that in the same way that in the 90s they talked their shit and then ended up doing it, if I see one drop of blood come from WWE in the TV 14 era,
it's coming.
They will have repeated exactly.
Cody bladed right now. He's ready. He's ready before he even
bleeding right now.
He's bleeding right now thinking about it.
Look, man.
He ain't waiting.
Look, Cody had 2 instances. Like, you saw his face at WrestleMania and you saw his chest at Hell in a Cell. That man bled internally already a couple of times.
He's like, no, I need to do this the other kind of way. All right, so take us back to how we were.
Like, now, of course, they're talking about SmackDown's going to stay PG. I mean, of course, SmackDown will stay PG.
Fox.
SmackDown was PG in the 90s. SmackDown was PG in 2000.
Network television, it's always going to be like that.
Network television is a little more difficult. Although, you know what's interesting, though? WWE had pay-per-views that are currently rated TVMA. Like, they've had pay-per-views that went, like, way up. Like, that image that people were sharing from John Cena with, like, the blood all over his face holding the 2 titles from Judgment Day 05. Judgment Day 05 is in the TVMA show. That was, like, fucking gruesome.
It's bloody.
Yeah, that show is officially rated TVMA if you check Peacock.
Speaking of John Cena, I always forget this until this clip pops up on Twitter, because it pops up like almost every few months of him saying that we got him, guys. We got Osama bin Laden. And I still think that is like one of the weirdest wrestling things ever. It's just par for the course of Cena becoming patriotic Cena and shifting out of his rap persona. And again, I don't want to seem like I'm an anti-Cena guy, but that was always like, I knew, buddy. I knew.
You know what was weird, though? The WWE's edit of that always weirded me out, because you've only ever seen WWE's official publishing of it. But but if you've ever seen the fan camera video, there's one thing, because they're always like, look, it's the 10-year anniversary of Cena announcing the death of Osama bin Laden, which he did. But in the clip, in the actual one, if you've seen the fan footage, Cena says, the president has just announced that Osama bin Laden has been compromised to an ultimate end or permanent end or whatever it was, right? Like his weird wording of saying Osama bin Laden is dead. But WWE only ever aired it just saying Osama bin Laden has been compromised to a permanent end. And I always thought it was weird that Cena in his official announcement gave the president credit for that. But the
WWE's like, no,
WWE
our
was like,
president did that. John Cena, he's the one that
WWE cut out the line, the president has just announced, which is like the important part there, because they're making it seem like Cena is making the announcement. Yeah, like Cena made the announcement, but like Cena said,
before he did his match, John Cena, tell him to announce this to the WWE crowd. He needs to say this.
Yeah, well, like it's always weirded me out that the official clip says, the one WWE has ever put out has never said the president has announced that all that, and I always thought that was a little bit weird. That like y'all just couldn't even hand that one to Obama, could you? You couldn't even give them that one.
Yeah, you see how quickly that happened, right? Though that how quickly he went from rapidy rap guy to voice of white America. You see how that happened, right?
What year?
I don't think that was intentional. I told you guys before, man. I told you guys, wider than before. Go Cena.
That's another thing I've been watching in my time is Power Rangers Zeo. Because I will tell you, I am a Gold Ranger fan, and it weirds me out that Jason is the Gold Ranger with only like 10 episodes. And I've seen those 10 episodes like 100 times. Like, I will watch those straight up same 10-ass episodes just because I'm like, look, Gold Ranger Saga didn't last very long, but those episodes near and dear to me.
Jason was getting his hand motions off every time he got that morph going.
Oh, yeah, no, with him, it was never just, it's more, like, all the other Rangers were just like, it's more for time. But no, he was like, it's more for time.
He had to get all the hand motions off, bro.
No, be at it all. He was like, and he always ended an X, right? He was like, it's more for time.
Big Sam Punk, man.
Yep. Let's see. Andrew the Giant says, get those super chats in so we can book Sasha Banks. I know, if we get 30,000, we can have her here on the show.
That's a lot of super chats, Mike.
Yeah, those super chats, and then we will have Sasha Banks sitting there right next to Righteous Rage.
Easy as that. It'll be me, it'll be Sasha, and we'll be down 30K. Yeah, it sounds great.
Brett says Metallica is $1 million a show. Apparently, all those numbers mean is they know their worth, as Sasha does, and it's great to see. Yeah, if you know, like the thing is, the reason that they're confident in booking Sasha Banks at 30,000 is because they know they'll make it back.
Right. Exactly. That's it. That's how these numbers.
People are going to like. I already see people booking flights and shit to C2E2 to go see Sasha Banks.
Mm-hmm. I already told y'all, man. City of the year, man. That's where I'm from.
I'm from the city in the Midwest, best city in the whole wide world.
Yeah, Chi-Town.
Yeah, I don't get to say that. I'm from Los Angeles. It's LA.
It's cool. I like LA.
So it's one of the greatest cities on earth.
I mean, put cilantro on your food.
Live and die in LA.
You said putting cilantro on your food.
But no, I've been in Denver way too long. I've been in Denver way too long to say that I'm actually from LA, but I was born there. I can say that. Birth certificate says Los Angeles County on it. I was born at Hollywood Presbyterian Hospital, baby. But
Cali boys.
Allison Tuckwob says WWE thinks they own the wrestler. Thinks they own the wrestler. Just wants to stay signed a contract, and I think that's messed up. I left when Jeff Jarrett just walked out, and that's basically and that's what the women basically did.
Nah, Jarrett is bike, baby. I don't know what you're talking about. He is going to be in Nashville for SummerSlam.
That makes the most sense for a special guest. The most sense I've seen in a special guest referee is Jeff Jarrett as the Usos and the Street Profits guest referee. Makes so much sense, right? Everybody just like that makes.
If you thought it was Sami Zayn, nah. If you thought it was probably gonna be Solo Sikoa, nah. Nope, we got Jeff Jarrett.
I'm confused by this a lot because so the story is that they had an incompetent referee who missed that Montez Ford's shoulder was up at Money in the Bank.
Was he fired, the referee?
No. But the part I'm confused by is where is Jeff Jarrett the guy who's going to get that right? Like, what's the story? Why are they like...
If you look up his history on Peacock, you'll be like, no, this guy definitely shouldn't be the referee.
A wrestler known for his integrity, Jeff Jarrett, is going to be the guy that comes in and gets his count right. That is hilarious.
Like, I don't understand the context of, like, getting Jeff Jarrett as the guy to do this right. Like Adam Pearce comes out and he's like, and I watched SmackDown like right before this show, so I'm actually
sorry to
SmackDown. Look, man, that's the only way I can watch SmackDown.
Isn't there more than 12 minutes of wrestling on?
I have not watched SmackDown. I don't think so. But I have not watched SmackDown live in a long time, and a big reason why, like, I'll skim it because that's the only way I can watch it. That show wastes so much of my time.
It is
that. You know, there's so much like, hey, here's an entrance. Then we go to commercial break. But then when we come back from commercial break, here's a video package and then a backstage segment. And then, that person that entered like 10 minutes ago is still standing in the ring, just like staring at the Tron. And then their opponent's entrance finally happens. And then we're getting the match. And
I can't do it, man.
So I'm like, okay, I will skim through the show to like see what I want to see. I saw the New Day dressed up as the Street Profits, and I thought, I would love to see these guys.
Weren't they dressed up as Vikings?
Or not, but Vikings. Yeah, why I say Street Profits? Dressed up as I guess they're just fresh on the mind, the Viking Raiders, and I'm like, that's great. I would love to see these guys wrestle. That'd be so much better.
It'd be even better
because I feel like because FightfulSelect.com had reported earlier in the day that
Street Vikings
that they were going to be. That the New Day was going to be dressed up as the Viking Raiders. I feel like that's all they had planned because that segment had like no punchline, and I was kind of waiting for it. And I'm like, okay, where's like?
They're like, okay, what should we do with it? I don't know, just send them out there.
Yeah, just send them out there, and they'll mention Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and like that's. I felt like this like didn't go anywhere except for I guess Jinder Mahal and Shanky are baby faces now.
Oh my god, that's a fucking nightmare.
Hey, you guys remember when Xavier Woods was king of the ring?
No, they don't. They forgot all about it. No, and I was actually, I I have a tweet in my drafts. I have a lot of stuff in my drafts. It's literally just a picture of Woods as King of the Ring, and it's just wrestling images that were forgotten. Like, that's in my drafts right now. And
Will was definitely cutting up this week. I seen one of your drafts. So I was like, nah, don't tweet that, bro.
Nah, Will was in him.
He was cutting up.
I'm like, no, we're like, yeah, no, maybe save that one. You are cooking over here.
You'll
bro.
never see that. Nobody will ever see that one.
Definitely keep that one in the draft. Will was getting this shit off. He ain't care.
No,
tired. I get it.
But so talking about Xavier Woods as King of the Ring, like, I guess the reason that I'm so irked by that is that, like, King Corbin won in 2019, and we had to see King Corbin for 2 years. It wasn't.
Man, he was like the general manager or something.
Like,
right? He was out there.
He milked that shit forever.
Pretty much
Woods
until he gave it to Xavier. That was like he wasn't all the way up to then.
Like he left the Shinsuke. The Shinsuke, right? But like Xavier Woods spent all this time campaigning for King of the Ring. He manifested that. He got it. They made it happen, and then he turned around, got a theme song made for King Woods. Shout out Mega Ran, like he got it done, and he kept it for like 2 months.
Bad. So bad.
There was nothing wrong, man.
Yeah.
That's all right though. He's excited,
and he's gotten even to higher heights since then. Like he got the G4 shit. Like he's doing. You would think they would want to promote this shit.
I feel like he is all. And look, I'm a big G4 guy. I was a bigger Tech TV guy.
Yeah.
Fuck you, G4, for destroying Tech TV. But I've always been like super proud of seeing Woods get to do it. Austin
he's having
Creed.
a lot of fun. So
he's having a lot of fun.
That video of him laughing into the camera and saying he's going to Comic-Con, hysterical. Have you guys seen that?
I haven't seen it.
It's hilarious. His phone is like on the ground and he's like walking up to it laughing. Hilarious.
I mean, and I'm glad he gets to host Arena. Like that's one of those G4 concepts that I thought was kind of like the epitome of what G4 was supposed to be. And the fact that like they relaunched G4 and didn't have Arena, I thought was weird. And so
it is.
Here it is. It's here.
Man, I feel like I say something he tweets almost every week that I laugh at, because I feel like Woods is one of the best wrestlers to follow on Twitter. He's just, all of his content is hilarious. You just know he's gonna be fine no matter what. Like, if he stops wrestling tomorrow, he's gonna be fine.
Like he's the case of like they are missing it on him. They'll be like, oh shit, we fucked up. Like we should have been utilizing him more. But he's gonna be great after that, no matter what.
Yeah. One of my guilty pleasures is
phenomenal ambassador.
Yeah. One of my guilty pleasures is I sit and watch him and a lot of wrestlers play Tekken on Up Down Down a lot. Like more than I'm willing to admit. I sit and watch
so like a lot.
Yeah. We got Jake Salazar says Sasha stands as bad as LeBron stands.
For reals, big facts.
I think Crew got them beat, bro. Crew will make you straighten up, bro.
Yeah, they swarm. I will say they're not as bad as like Beyonce stands, because if you piss off the Beehive, that's
or the Barbs.
Yeah,
the Barbs go crazy. The Barbs will pull up. The Barbs will pull up on you, like for reals. Like they
Barbs will
don't
pull up. The Meg stands are getting there. They're not as bad.
They are.
Yeah, the Barb stands are interesting because like, nope, I can't even say it. I feel like they'll find this clip. They
will find you. They have anything on alert. They're like, we need to go over here and handle.
Now you say anything about Nicki Minaj, they will rip you apart.
They're gonna find you.
They'll find you, buddy.
They'll find you.
They'll find the clip.
Let's see. PDW95 says, I prefer Raw returning to 2 hours than TV 14.
For sure. We need 2 hours back, for real.
I mean, 2 hours exists for the same reason that Rampage exists, and I think people need to kind of recognize that 3 hours exists is what I mean, for the same reason, which is that it's extra content because they get paid. The more content you run, that's more ads you can run. There's more. There's so much more you can do with the more content you're producing, and to be able to do more content while not having to bring out more production trucks, while not having to book another building. It's just more content in the same place. It's
a win-win for the network.
It's a win for the network because the network, and it's a win for WWE and for AEW because as far as Rampage is concerned, like, you know, there's always people talking about any doom and gloom over Rampage ratings, things like that. But like, that's a show that doesn't cost them a whole lot more to produce because it's not live. It's done in the exact same arena, which was the goal, right? It's to maximize the TV deal because the TV deal included a third hour of television when they originally signed the deal back at the beginning of 2020. And that's what TNT wanted. They wanted that extra hour we're spending money on this. We want as much content as possible. And that's what that's for. And same with Raw. With Raw, it's like, look, Raw would be 6 hours if they could, just because the more content they have out, the more time there is for advertising on that show. Like, you can't do that, but they would love to.
They're not going to go backwards, that's for sure. Do you want 4 hours or do you want to go back to 2 hours? 4 hours, definitely. Yes. You know what I mean?
No, they would do as much as they could. They want as much content out of those tapings as possible.
Yeah.
So that's what that's all about.
I mean, they do 4 hours. They tape main event on those Raws too. That's more time added. Yeah. So
shout out Tom Talks Rubbish. Yes, thanks for a great podcast as always, fellas, and thanks to Phil and Will for some great interviews. Big love to you all. Of course,
Appreciate
thanks, Tom. Let's see. And Allison says, sorry for messing up my message and you guys couldn't understand. But the woman walked off because of creativity, and Jeff Hardy walked out too. Okay, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. C. Romero says, sup, fellas. Got my 3-show combo for All Out Week for a 2-peat, 3-peat next year in Chicago, of all places. Living in Nebraska, Chicago became Chicago became a second home with all the AEW shows. We win in Phil.
We are absolutely winning, buddy. Sorry, all you guys, man. Y'all thought y'all was going to be in Toronto? Hate to hear it.
Brent Lockman says, I miss War Machine. I mean, look, the way that they, like, the fact that they came in and were like, we're going to call you the Viking Experience. And then we're like, okay. And people hated that, so they changed it to the Viking Raiders. Yeah. Like, you had to make sure that you got the name Viking in there because as far as people are concerned, you are going to be Vikings.
If you can't tell by looking at these guys, they're Vikings.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if you can tell by the garb.
I don't know if you knew.
Yes.
Vikings.
Yeah, but I definitely missed the war chant. Like, going to take over Chicago, and the war chant in there was so loud. Man, and I mean, I know they do this thing now. It just don't hit the same as the.
It don't hit the same.
Come on, man. Yeah. That shit was fire.
Christian Ramos says, fantasy book Sasha and AEW for me, fellas. Go off.
Fantasy book Sasha Banks and AEW for you.
There's fantasy, you say.
I think in a perfect world, she would be ready by All Out, but of course that's not going to happen. Sounds like she's not going to be ready until next year. Which puts us possibly at Revolution or whatever their show at the top of the year is. I did think it was funny that one of the first things that were available, because I was like January 4th, and I was like, why does January 4th sound familiar? And I was like, oh, Wrestle Kingdom. I was like, yo, if Sasha showed up at Wrestle Kingdom, that would be amazing.
That'd be pretty major. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that seemed pretty far-fetched, but I don't know, man. I don't know how would fantasy book her. I don't think it's hard to book Sasha though. I think that they have tricked us into believing that, oh well, she's not a great baby face or she works best as heel. It's not that hard to book Sasha, man. Just book her in good matches, man. I feel like you could easily fast track her to the title. I'm not a big fan of people coming straight in and winning the title, but Sasha is one of those people where if she's coming in, like, she should be champion as soon as possible.
She's a champ. Yeah, I agree. It's hard to. I feel like that too. Like I would want like a kind of CM Punk slow build, how he built it, but also it's like Sasha might need that belt, especially how she's kind of been held down over there. Like people think that's like a detriment for like, oh, she hasn't been. I saw the stat that she hasn't been in a singles match since Bianca at WrestleMania, and like all these things. Like no, that's why on pay-per-view she hasn't been in a singles match since WrestleMania with Bianca.
She hadn't had a pay-per-view singles match. Yeah,
that's just like what kind of you had Sasha this whole time, and I don't, So, but yeah, she's ready, and she'll be even more ready by that time. So,
yeah,
I'm super excited to see.
And
it's not even saying that she's gonna be in AEW. She might legit be like, "I'm out of here, you guys. Peace out." So we don't. Really know.
I think she's.
The only reason I don't see that is because I just feel like she's not somebody who stumbled into pro wrestling,
right?
It was just
she wanted to be a pro wrestler.
Like her dream was being a pro wrestler,
right?
And I don't know. I see her keeping that up as long as she can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but no, I just feel like the road is there. I mean, the fact that Joshi Wrestling is on the way to having a boom in the U.S. And the fact that AEW is making all these inroads to work with Joshi Promotions now, I feel like the pathway is there for her to do all the things that she wants to do and finish up her career on a high note.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I am just in the process of getting all of the remaining Humper chats in, and we are gonna read those off because we got some good ones, and we can peace out. But Joseph Snurk says, "Happy Saturday, dudes! As I catch up on the opening night of the G1 Climax, who are your picks to win it? I'm going with Naito."
Naito is a good shout.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I kind of would like to see Naito win, but Naito has also had several title shots this year.
Right.
I feel like you could book somebody else. I'm not mad at Naito though. I'm never mad at Naito.
I like to see Ospreay win it. I think just because I know the matches and build up to it's going to be hot.
Yeah.
Pretty much, But it's up in the air. It's New Japan. Anybody they could kind of sell any of their top guys as the winner, as they always do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Shit. I don't know. I feel like. So I'm thinking about Forbidden Door and who could probably stand to after like having a showing at Forbidden Door. Like I feel like a Zack Sabre Jr. right could like benefit from, kind of bouncing back from that loss to Claudio. Right. I don't know.
Yeah. No. I'm never mad at Naito, but yeah, you've got the biggest G1 field ever. You've got a lot of good names in there. I feel like you could easily go with someone else. Honestly, I wouldn't be mad at Kenta. Kenta's promo during the G1 conference. I've watched that thing like 20 times. It is hilarious.
He's like, my name is Kenta. My favorite food. Kenta's a fool, man.
Hilarious, man.
Let's see. Casanova T says, I like JR saying what everyone in the audience was thinking last night in the main event. Enough with the damn taking the Lucha Bros masks. And then the rest of the crew being like, should we back him on that? Yeah, that shit got old. Shit got old quick. Good match.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a go-to. It's too much of a go-to thing with the Lucha Bros. And I feel like we can kind of cool it on that for now.
Right.
Yeah, they've done that finish way too much.
Yes. Let's see. Based Maritimer says, hey, Grapsody guys, watching while icing my neck and relaxing.
Hey, what you doing?
I went to see RTJ and Rage Against the Machine here in Ottawa last night, and I am hurting from that pit. There's the explanation.
I was gonna.
I'll be wilding in the mosh pit.
That show was supposed to come to Oakland, but they rescheduled to next year. So I'm looking forward to that. Run the Jewels and Rage Against the Machine. Rage Against the Machine is back, pissing all the people off. The stories that Rage Against the Machine has in the news are so funny of people not knowing. Like, have you ever listened to the band? Every time they tweet and they're like, Rage Against the Machine sure has changed. I'm like, you never were fully listening to their music, were you? You dumb idiots.
It says, who's excited for Eddie and Jericho to bleed like a motherfucker on Wednesday?
Barbed wire.
I'm ready for Eddie to get this win and move on from this feud.
I think it is interesting as hell, though. Again, going back to what I was saying before about the networks and things going in the opposite direction people thought. When it was like, look, Discovery is buying Warner, or not buying, but merging with Warner. And there was some people saying, well, will AEW have to clean up and like, because you got Discovery on board now, will they have to go PG? And it's like, no, to promote Shark Week, which is like Discovery's big thing, they're doing a barbed wire everywhere match
to promote Shark Week.
To promote
Shark Cage.
To promote the biggest thing that Discovery has.
Right.
Shark Week.
We are promoting.
This how will help. We'll have a bloody match for you guys.
We're going to have the going as bloody as can be.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that's very funny that that is the direction that ended up going. Let's see. I'm going to add this Humper chat here because this one's got a bit of a complaint and I'm ready to hear it.
Oh, no.
No, not complaining.
No, I mean, this is... I feel like this is a valid criticism. And so let's take a look at this one. It's from Meet Normus. It says, what's good, fellas? I thought they did the women dirty on Rampage. Renegade Twins went from getting squashed on Dark to getting squashed on TV. Not the progress I'm looking for. Jade needs to be in Marvel movies. She's a star because she shines like one.
I will agree that them putting the women in the same spot every single Dynamite and like not the greatest spot is getting kind of old. And
what's interesting to me is that it wasn't always this way. And I'm curious what caused that shift in decision because I randomly found myself, and you're going to hear me say this a lot while I'm at home by myself, randomly found myself watching an old episode of Dynamite, and I just threw it on because I found it. And because I wanted to see the four-way. It was the four-way between Kenny and Hangman, Best Friends, Santana and Ortiz, and the Young Bucks. Great four-way tag match.
Yeah.
The second match on that show was the women's match. And I remember that multiple times because also...
I do remember that.
Yeah. The four-way at the famous four-way where Riho retained over Nyla Rose, Hikaru Shida, and Britt Baker was also the second match on the show. I'm pretty sure... I can think of multiple instances where it was in the first hour where the women's wrestling took place. And I don't know, somewhere in the last like year and a half or so, it was just like, nope, right at that 9:30
Yeah, I'm like, it's
Eastern
6:30 over here. I know it's the women's match coming up.
Yeah, it was like right at that mark, but that was not always the case. And I'm curious what the wisdom in that was.
Well, two things. I think people often discount the fact that Riho was a draw as champion, and Riho continues to be a draw every time they use her.
And you know what? That now that you say that, Riho versus Serena Deeb, the match that got all the praise last year, that was early in the show too last year.
Yeah, Riho's a draw. But the other part is, I agree.
That's interesting. I wasn't even thinking of that, but you're right.
Yeah, I agree. Putting Renegade Twins on TV and then immediately just making it a squash anyway, like they've done on Dark, was just kind of a waste. Because I think Renegade Twins are great. They're a great tag team, and if you're gonna do like tag team wrestling with the women, actually do it.
Right.
So I was a little disappointed that it was so short. But I also understand that they're trying to fit so many things on Rampage and trying to fit the angle in. It just feels like they're doing a lot.
To me, I very much am starting to feel like I like everything that's been happening with Jade and Jade and Athena and Chris Statlander, but like it's time to pull the trigger. Like
it's time to do it. Execute whatever they're going for.
Execute where this is going because it started at Double or Nothing, and that was the end of May. It's the middle of July now. Do something.
And they just keep doing the same type of things.
You think they're trying to hold that match until Battle of the Belts? Is that why they're waiting so long?
So is it going to be a three-way? Like I feel like I said, we got to do something though. We got to get some hands on each other. It's been too long now, and Battle of the Belts is happening August 6th. So like,
that's
pretty
still
soon.
2 weeks away.
Yeah.
Still 3 weeks. We don't have time for this anymore.
I'm curious, what did you guys think of the Brit segment? Because there was a lot of talk about the Brit segment online. Some people either thought it was fine, and some people absolutely hated it.
I loved it.
It was very divisive, I noticed. So what did you guys think?
A sandbag? That's hilarious. No, I think they know that just like everything AEW does, they reward people for being... WWE does the opposite. If you're a person online and you like that shit, they make you feel like you're a dumb person. AEW is like, we know that you guys know about this, so we're gonna show it to you. And I like it in that regards.
I don't know how I feel about stuff like that.
I mean, because it perpetuates a thing, and it helps fans to add on, which is the part that I don't like.
Because like, what is sandbagging in the context of pro wrestling?
Right.
In the context of the show, like, what is sandbagging? Everybody should be able to just lift up anyone.
Like in the context of pro wrestling, everyone should sandbag. That should be right. You shouldn't let anyone fucking lift you. You're not gonna suplex me, dude. I'm staying down here.
Yeah. So what is it in wrestling context, right? So like, I don't like that because what does that even mean to pro wrestlers?
It's kayfabe, you guys. Just leave it. Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, I could see it both ways. I did think it was very clever the way that she did it. I thought her doing her like mic drop moment at the end and saying, "Here, you carry her for a few months." I thought that was a good zinger to end on. But
zinger.
But I've noticed that Britt does this thing often where it's like she will kind of dominate the segment and then kind of end it in a way that the babyface can't come back. And so it's like she'll come out looking great, but then her opponent doesn't get to get any retort in.
Just that's how Charlotte worked. That's how whole Charlotte's thing is. That every time you watch a promo, you're like, well, Charlotte got over, but what about everybody else?
And so I thought it was clever.
Although, did you guys see that interview with Charlotte? She talked about they asked her the biggest misconceptions about her.
I didn't see it.
I saw the clip.
Charlotte out of the ring is awesome, but in the ring,
she talked about the biggest misconception about her was that, and I had to do a count to see if she was right.
It was on the Maria Menounos thing, right?
Menounos, yeah. And she said, that I'm always in the title picture, and she said, guys, my last 5 reigns weren't for me. I get what she's saying, that like the last reign was for Ronda Rousey. Right. The reign before that
she was the transitional champion 5 times in a row is what she said.
Yeah, she's saying that these were reigns to build up somebody else to basically be built up to beat me. Right.
It's such a loaded thing to say because I understand what she means, but nobody in the world is like, I've been champion as many times as me, and none of that is for me. Like, come on.
Yeah, that's
like you still get the stat of being a 12-time or whatever how many times champion she is. That's something you say every time you come out. You can't just say that is not for me. It is for a specific reason, Charlotte.
Like, okay, tell your dad to stop saying he's 16 times too, because he lost 16 times.
And like I said, I get why she's saying it, but
like, oh no, that was for Sting that one time. That one didn't count.
and I do appreciate other things she said, like, you don't ever see me attacking people's looks.
I love that. Yeah, I never thought about that. Yeah, she said, she was like, in all my years, she's like, I may have some cut. I may cut deep as a heel, but I have never body shamed. I've never attacked somebody's appearance.
Most of the time, it's just like, I'm a better wrestler than you, and this is why. It's never like you're this or you're that.
The one thing that I can stick my finger up and go, that's kind of not true, is that when she was feuding with Bayley, and she was like, well, look at Bayley. Bayley doesn't look like the star of the show. I look like the star. They're not going to put Bayley on red carpet. So you kind of did do that to Bayley, but it wasn't body shaming, at least.
Right.
Yeah. Well, we got last Humper Chat. This one's from Life of Deem. He says, I went into Wednesday expecting the Bucks to win. When the 1, 2, 3 was counted, I completely lost my shit. I'm so happy for Swerve and Lee. Now they have to bring the pyro back for their entrance. That was another William R. Washington thing, by the way, that I said trademark on that.
Put his little stamp on it.
I did. I
this guy threw his initial in there, man.
I
know. William R. Washington.
Yep, exactly. I used that on. And by the way, if you didn't see, I did get to host Raw post on Fightful.
You watched Raw. You watched Raw. You watched Raw.
By the way, this week. I watched that and I saw you putting over this Maximum Male Models thing, and I was sitting there looking like, wait a minute. This guy gives me all the shit in the world for liking Rollins, and you like that? Really?
Look, hold up. First off, let me explain. Because I explained this on the show. Because for those who didn't see, basically me and Denise were at each other's throats because she hates Maximum Male Models, and
Denise is right on this, by the way.
Look, Maximum Male Models is a funny thing on a show I hate watching. And so, like, on a show that's fucking miserable, at least I have something to laugh at. If you put this in a show where contextually I like most of what the show puts on and this occurs, no. But, like, on its own, seeing Massey and Mansois,
it's just so box of gimmicks. How many times you could probably think of it because you're William R. Washington? How many times have they had a male model thing? Like, I'm thinking of 5 off my head, like Rick Martel.
Oh yeah.
Breezango,
yeah.
Silva,
no, it's very much.
It's like we have this. I know how to do it. Like, here's the box of gimmicks.
It is very much a box of gimmicks thing. And if it wasn't for the performers, I wouldn't give it any credit at all. But I actually think that Mansois and Massey, and really, it's like the names I'm like laughing at more than anything. But I think that Massey is fucking hilarious up there. Look, we weren't sure what they were going to change Mace to, but they changed it to Massey. And
I just want the homie to be able to get a gimmick that fucking lasts, man.
And Mansoor, changing him to Mansoor. Look, this thing has no fucking shelf life, all right?
Saying.
That's the other thing, too. This thing is going to die. All right? Do I respect this as professional wrestling? Absolutely not. But is it one of those just dumb things I'm laughing at because it sucks? Yes.
No legs, man. No.
That's what it is to me. If you put it any place else on a show that I like what I'm seeing, no. But look, I actually don't hate Maximum Male Models. I don't. And I'm fucking guilty. I'm sorry. I don't hate this at all.
Shout out to Mansoir, man. Mansoir is dope, by the way.
Mansoir, that is such a great change to Mansoor, by the way.
Who do you think is going to be the woman that they bring in this week? I feel like it has to be Jenny.
Maxine Dupree.
I don't want them to change Jenny's name, but I feel like it has to be Jenny. Who else would it be?
I mean, they could feel that, like, it doesn't have to be someone who's previously done one of those type of gimmicks is what WWE does. Like, they'll throw somebody totally
you mean
off pass in there.
They're going to throw somebody random in there and they're going to be doing the model poses?
I'm saying, you never know. Like, who's in NXT right now that could fill that role?
Yo, they're going to have EO doing the model poses?
Oh, bro, imagine.
Van Twin Blade says, talking about the Rage Against the Machine thing, he said, who the F you dorks think the machine is?
What machine could they possibly have been talking about? I'm confused.
Allison said, I haven't heard from Biggie lately. He must be hurt or he can't come to the wrestle right now. He's been talking.
Somebody in this podcast did a really great article a couple days ago discussing the man Biggie.
He put out his update at the beginning of the month where he was saying basically that his C1 is not ossifying, which means it's not forming bone, and so they want to continue to look at it, and they are going to check back in a year, is what he said. And so
he's a long way off.
Yeah. So when he spoke to TMZ Sport about it, he said that he is he's not worried about it. He's not rushing back, and he feels like he's at peace if he can wrestle again, even if that means he can't wrestle again. He's at peace with whatever happens.
Right. Look, these WWE wrestlers most of them have done this schedule for 10, 12 years. It's rough. You know what I mean? Like at worst, like he gets to like rest the rest of his body too, doing this whole thing. And so,
So Yeah, Maxine is 1,000% a black woman name, by the way.
But, definitely.
Yeah, the thing that kind of bummed me out,
Maxine Shaw, yeah.
The thing that kind of bummed me out when I saw it immediately was like, it just feels like, even if he's saying he's at peace with it, it's like, man, it just feels like for him to come off of the best year of his career as a singles wrestler and possibly be done and not get another chance to be WWE champion, that's a bummer.
Right.
But I do think that he's done a lot in his career, and that's basically what I wrote the article about for Bleacher Report. He doesn't have anything else to prove, man. He's had a Hall of Fame career already. He's had a great career as a tag team wrestler. He's done everything but be United States champion.
Yep.
He's done it all. He hasn't won a Royal Rumble, but I mean, first black Money in the Bank winner. So many accomplishments. First black NXT.
He should have won the Royal Rumble this year.
NXT champion.
First black NXT champion. One of the longest reigning tag team champions. He's had a storied career, man. He could stop this thing right now, and it wouldn't hurt anything.
Like if you were like just the New Day stuff, Hall of Fame, but then you add in everything else, it's like, yo, you know?
Yeah, and man, I'm with a lot of black indie wrestlers I've talked to that say, man, normalize putting black wrestlers on the list of all-time greats. And I feel like in terms of what Biggie has done with his career, he deserves his flowers, man. He does. He's done a lot of great things in his career.
Derek Gordon says, nah, people gonna stop comparing Britt to Charlotte and Roman, saying she's pushed too much and people are tired of her. Just look at the crowd reactions.
Well, I mean, I will say that I was immediately taken aback by the huge pop that Britt got for just a backstage segment.
I mean, but we hadn't seen her in a month, so like that was the other thing too. I think it was one of those surprises, like, oh shit, Britt's here. And I think that was really what it was. Ryan Lambert says, rename BCC to Maximum Male Models.
Maximum.
Don't do this. Please don't do this to us. Don't do that.
But yeah, so either way, what's our takeaway from this episode? That Swerve and Keith Lee are tag team champions.
Big win, big W.
That Sasha Banks is worth $30,000.
Of course, big bag. She could get way bigger bags than that. She's actually giving y'all a discount.
Big bag.
Yes.
That was just a message for Impact to not text her. Like, yo, I'm charging $30K, dude. Stay out of my phone. Don't
per episode. Like, this is.
Don't call over here, bro. Y'all cannot afford me.
Yeah.
I think our other takeaway is that
Baron Black, he wants some problems.
He wants problems.
Yeah. Let's start this now. Official Grapsody lesson of the day. Oh my God, I didn't even think of this. Chris Robinson says, "Hey, what if Brandy Rhodes is Maxine?"
Oh, yo. Oh, damn.
Why did you put this into the world?
You did it. You did it. Oh, man. Brandy's phone just rang. Hello, who is this?
Maxine
Please
with
do
two
not
X's,
call me with
by
this
the way.
bullshit.
Yeah. I definitely, I don't know. I am just, this has been one of the greatest weeks, like, for me. I really feel like Swerve got to have the moment of his career so far.
Oh, yeah. There's more to come.
Oh, yeah. There's more to come. But I think that him getting that win, that big pop, I mean, he was so hype when he got that 3 count that he basically threw Rick Knox out of the ring there.
Rick Knox was a casualty in a celebration. Sorry to Rick Knox. But yeah, they haven't even been to like Seattle and the Pacific Northwest yet. So there's still some big shit that's going to happen.
It's great stuff. Great night. Love it. Folks, this has been Grapsody. Thanks for being with us. Philip, Lindsey. You know,
2-time champ, back to back,
and you know, Righteous Red, your favorite rapper, your favorite writer,
yeah, you
favorite.
know me, all kind of crazy shit's going on all the time at all moments. Keep on guard and live your life.
Yep, I'm Will Washington. We'll see you next time. Have a great night. Peace.